Because
Yeah.
it's already.
Oh, okay. That's right. You're going live. Come on, Levi. Come on.
I'm glad we're doing it this week. I was actually out of town last week, and I almost said something. I was like, I don't want to miss it.
Oh, yeah. Last week was pretty chaotic, so it ended up that this week just felt the best. You know, it was like it's been 2 months, but there's been so much happening. It's just been busy. So
I mean, that's what is that Arturelia in or Arturo in 2007?
Yep.
Yes, it is. It actually is.
Yep.
I remember that picture.
I forget what year you were born.
96. I was
like,
I would have been 11 here.
Yeah.
I
remember that picture.
Cool.
Long ago. It was actually the same time we went to go. Okay, I knew we saw Spider-Man 3, and then we were there and we saw the third Pirates movie. I remember
the weekend that this picture was taken, we had gone to see Pirates the night before. I remember that specifically. So
those were the days.
What's that, Colin?
I was a little disappointed by the third one. I was really stoked for it because I love the second one.
Same. I love the second one too. Yeah.
I don't know why it was just felt a little more serious. Like the story and the tone felt a little more like serious and complicated. Just wasn't as fun, I guess.
There felt like there was something missing. And I'll tell you what really makes this movie the last of my favorite. Like the others, like 4 and 5, they're okay, but I don't really count them in the trilogy.
Yeah.
But when Elizabeth and Will got married in the middle of a freaking sword fight, I was like, okay, this is dumb. This is really dumb.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, that was.
That was terrible.
Yeah,
I love that movie too, Tariq. Yes, I actually really loved.
Well, I guess we can go ahead and just announce back. Yeah, we're doing 07. This was actually a year that I started to pay a little more attention to movies coming out. You know.
Cool.
So speaking of Pirates, so that was actually, well, depending on, I guess, the page. In one place, it's saying like for the highest grossing films, number 1 is Pirates of the Caribbean.
For which worldwide or you?
Is this as highest grossing?
Wikipedia is worldwide.
Yeah.
And Box Office Mojo is
Simon,
domestic.
Come on.
Okay. Wait, now what's that from? Hold on.
B movie.
Oh, I saw that movie and totally forgot about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna go look at because I was on a different page.
Yeah, surprisingly, that's number 1.
Almost $1 billion.
I will mention this after we watch it. There's like good things about that movie that I like, but I also understand the flaws with it.
Yeah.
Wait, you mean B movie?
The Pirates movie.
Pirates. Okay. Also, when Calypso turned into a giant, that was just like no. Come on, Jimmy.
I felt like that whole portion was like kind of slightly rushed. Like she's like this woman that was helping them out in the second one. All of a sudden is this thing.
She was like what was she? A goddess or some type of force of nature or something. I can't remember. She was Calypso. But
yeah.
I don't know. It some parts of it were, but also I just felt like it got really complicated, like you were saying, and ridiculous, and all the political stuff that was going on, and all the kings. I mean, not the kings, but like the pirate leaders, and then Elizabeth is pirate leader, like that. Come on.
Yeah.
No.
And I was excited about Chow Yun-fat being in it, and it felt like he wasn't. I mean, he was cool, but he wasn't really memorable in that movie.
Yeah, no.
For some reason, when I watched it the first, well, back then when I was younger, your mind's a little different when you watch something. But when I watched it again, I was kind of thinking, man, he was barely like doing much. That guy.
Yeah.
Felt like that too. Yeah. Yep.
Like for some reason in my mind when I was younger, thought he lasted a little longer before that point, but no, just.
Yeah, it was
there, and then he's not.
It felt underwhelming, unfortunately, and I did have high expectations because I really liked the second movie a lot. I felt like it was a lot funnier than the first one,
Oh,
and I
definitely.
hated how it ended, that cliffhangery ending. I didn't like that, but I was thinking that the explanation and the way everything played out in the third film would sort of wrap it all up, and it would be just a great conclusion, and it just felt kinda lackluster, like the spark was just gone by then,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Well, I mean, it did wrap it up.
Yeah, but it's still I don't know. I still felt like it was kinda like I guess because there's supernatural stuff going on in this thing, but just how they brought him back from the dead didn't make I don't know,
He was in purgatory, I assume.
he was like in Davy Jones' locker. That's where he
Uh,
was, or something like that. I
oh, but
don't
you
know.
gotta admit though, still
I
like
mean, I'm glad he was
best
back
scenes of
because he's
Jack
the best part
Sparrow.
of the whole movie, but
Yeah,
still, whatever. It was a bit of a
I mean the movie
disappointment.
still had funny moments.
Yeah, it did.
Now number 2, this was actually my favorite in the series, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. I really I like that one a
I
lot.
love
I
that
remember
movie.
like that was okay. I remember going to see the fourth one, but for some reason the fifth one stood out to me because that was there's
There's
D.
D.
Hey,
Hey!
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, nothing much. We're just talking about movies.
Yeah, we just finished
shirt.
talking about pirates.
Oh, wait, what does your shirt say? Hold on.
Blockbuster.
cool.
That's what I thought it said, but it's kind of tiny, and I thought maybe it said D Movie Man or something.
No, that was cool.
We just wrapped up talking about pirates. That was actually number 1 for the highest grossing film of that year, and that was moving on to Harry Potter,
Harry
Order of
Potter.
the Phoenix as number 2.
Oh.
Yeah, and as I was saying, so I do remember going to see the fourth one, but for some reason, the fifth one stood out to me more, just because around that time I was getting like into new stuff, and it was just an exciting time.
You were older and
Yeah, and
able to
just
kind of pay attention.
I don't
more
know,
to
life
stuff
was
like
a bit exciting at that point, and
that.
seeing that movie, I don't know, I really enjoyed it.
I was able to see that a couple weeks before it came out. I think it was the first time I went to like an early screening. It was like 2 weeks early, and it was through MySpace. MySpace was having some sort of promo thing.
MySpace.
I know, right?
The
And one of my
thing that
friends,
doesn't exist much anymore.
she went down there and she was standing in line, and I came to join her, and there was concern like that I might not get in. What's funny is that there was like a former coworker was there managing the whole sort of event. So that was kind of cool. I got to see her, and I made it in, and I remember I loved the movie. It was really good. But that same year I got an advance, accidentally got sent the last book like a week before it was supposed to be sent to us.
That's awesome.
So I was reading it, and then they contacted me. I think it was Deep Discount Books or something that had accidentally sent it out, and they wrote me and they said, we'd like to ask if you could, not read it. And I'm like, it's too late. I'm about halfway through, and then at one point I switched to the audiobook, and because by then the audiobook was available, and the audiobook was going too slow. I was like right at the end, and the audiobook was just like, I can read faster than Jim Dale can talk. And so I was reading because I was at the end. I was like, I won't be able to sleep if I can't finish this book. And I read and read and read and read, and it was like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. And I finally finished, and I couldn't sleep because I had finished the dang book, and I was just thinking about it so much.
That's fun.
So those are fond memories of Harry Potter in 2007.
I enjoyed the books more than the movies for that reason. Like I would stay up like all night, just I wouldn't stop reading until it was done. Pretty much, like those were really, really good. I
love the books. Yeah.
And it's so funny, Sin. Now that you said that, I realized that. Well, okay, no, maybe not my first, but I would say that was probably my first kind of getting into like I would say middle school, kind of getting towards high school. That was like my first, The Prisoner of Azkaban and then Goblet of Fire. Those were my first like audio books because I had the tapes for both of them. And I think I remember the narrator. I don't know if his name was David Starkey or something like that, but that was
Stephen Fry or Jim Dale.
I think it might have been somebody different because for those,
really?
movies. Yeah, I'm not sure if they've changed.
Oh, okay.
Because see, these are on actual tapes, and then you had to like switch them.
Oh, long time ago.
Yeah, these are
In a
old.
galaxy far, far away.
That's funny. I didn't get into the books until after I had seen the third movie.
Oh, okay.
And then I started listening to the audiobooks, and then I became thoroughly addicted to Harry Potter. Like, I loved those books so much. The audiobook experience. If you have never heard the ones done by Jim Dale, oh, you must check them out. He was so good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, just all the different voices. I mean, the dude, he won a Grammy, I think, for Order of the Phoenix because he created, I think they said he like had created a record number of different voices for that book. Like I thought it was 100, 200 and some different voices that he had created. And he was distinct. Like you could tell who was talking.
That's cool.
He's so talented. And very, very impressive. And that was kind of like not really the beginning, but the early days of my audiobook obsession that led me down the path to where I am today.
Yeah. Cool.
So,
yeah.
In fact, Harry Potter, the Order of the Phoenix, there's a quote in this movie that's my favorite quote of all time in any movie, even though, like, Terminator 2 is my favorite movie.
Actor, that
Gary
was in
Oldman,
Element and Air Force One and Batman.
It's the part I even copied and pasted here because I wanted to repeat it verbatim because it's such a powerful quote, and I think it was also in the book. But it says he was telling Harry, he said, "The world isn't split into good people and Death Eaters. We've all got both light and dark inside us. What matters is the part we choose to act on. That's who we really are." And I was like, "Wow, that's really powerful. I love that."
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's my take on Harry Potter.
You know what that reminds me of? Have you seen? Well, I'm assuming you've seen it. Have you seen any of the Lord of the Rings trilogy?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, I don't know if this is in the extended version of Fellowship of the Ring, but there's a point where Frodo realizes that Gollum is following them, and basically says like, we should have killed him, to kind of prevent him following us. And,
remember that? Yeah.
Basically says. There are good men that deserve to live, and there are bad men that lived and deserve death, and there are and vice versa. And you have to understand what a terrible thing it is to take a life, and you have to really understand what the impact of that actually means. And if you're not prepared to do it, then don't speak lightly of that. And it was interesting. Like, it's not like, I don't know, for some reason when you said that, it reminded me of that, but it's just like he was really referencing kind of the unfairness of the world and how easily Frodo was kind of looking at death like, oh, we should just kill him. It's like, that's not really how that, how that works. And
yeah.
I remember that moment.
It's going to take you down if you decide to do that. Yeah.
That is a good moment. Yeah, it's the Two Towers. Yeah, because that's like the Gollum movie.
That's right. That's where he first shows up, and that's when I first paid attention to Andy Serkis as an actor.
He's a good actor.
Because I think that movie made him. Like,
yeah, I think so. He's so talented. Like his ability to capture.
Kong, for crying out loud.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. No. The part I was referring to is this is before they actually show up in full. They just see that he's following like when they're in the dwarf tunnels.
Okay.
He's kind of following behind, and they only show his eyes at one point when he's like,
"Oh no, you're right. That is Fellowship of the Ring. My bad. Yeah, no, that is that moment, and it's kind of Gandalf's telling.
Oh wait, he showed up in the first one.
He had that moment.
Don't remember that. I wonder if that was the extended. I don't remember. It's been so long since I've seen it.
Yeah, I totally forgot that is Fellowship. Because I was like, Gollum's not in the first one at all, but he is in that like one moment. He's slinking through the mines, following him.
Yeah, the mines.
Yeah. We're about to rewatch that trilogy. We're getting ready to.
I love it.
Yeah, I know it's super popular. What's that?
I'm hooked.
The Amazon show.
Yeah, I haven't caught it yet. I've only seen my first episode.
I really enjoy it. I don't think you have to even know the Lord of the Rings to. It's kind of loosely connected, but
I thought it was a prequel.
yeah, it's like thousands of years before. Just visually, it's awesome, and it's got a lot of different storylines going. And I have no idea where it's going, so I like that.
Are you watching Wings of Power?
Is that a show for real?
House of the Dragon.
Oh,
Wings of Power.
Oh
Nice.
my gosh.
oh,
Yeah, those are every Friday is Rings and Sundays Dragons. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I just finished rereading the book House of Dragons based on it. Now that I have like faces to put to all the names, so it's kind of cool. I'm liking it.
Did he actually write that one?
Yeah, he did. It's a George Martin, Fire and Blood. He kind of wrote, it's like the Silmarillion or something like Tolkien wrote, where it's not like a narrative story. It's like he writes it as if he's like a historian writing a book about the kings that ruled. So it's like he's writing
almost like a history book.
Yeah, it's like it's a history book set almost like during modern time or like when the Game of the Thrones show is, but he's talking about like it's just kind of recounting the history of the like hundreds of years of Targaryen kings. So they're drawing from a lot they're drawing from his writing, but they're having to blow it up and make a lot of story out of it because he just kind of briefly went over what happened.
Yeah.
So for like once they have to expound on his material, whereas with Game of Thrones they had to really slim it down.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like the opposite. But they are taking a lot of lines from the book, and so far they've barely changed anything. The changes they've made are negligible in terms of the effect it has on the story. So I like that they're really taking from his book because his book's crazy, and I just finished it. Everybody dies. It's not like who lives. It's not who dies. It's who lives.
Right.
Which in Game of Thrones is already known for that.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
This outdoes Game of Thrones. It's crazy. But yeah.
Do you still refuse to watch it, Sin?
Yes. Yes.
You'll come around. I think it's gonna be.
I don't know. I doubt it.
I think the excuse they gave that what was it anyway?
The Velaryon house?
Yeah.
I thought that was completely unnecessary, and if they hadn't opened their mouth and said something that divisive and ridiculous, maybe I would be interested. But I'm still salty about Game of Thrones. But
I think that's not actually the reason. I think that was just kind of said to attract a certain type of audience member. Because the show really does benefit from having that racial distinction. Because otherwise you just have a bunch of blonde-haired
it actually
people,
does kind of.
It's going to be really difficult to tell people apart. This is a bit of a spoiler, but somebody got an eye taken out in the last episode.
Yeah.
So now he's going to wear an eye patch, and that's probably so you can tell him apart from his brother.
Right.
Because they look more or less
because
exactly
they look
the same.
Like twins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
all
and if the Velaryon house were as they were portrayed in the books, then they'd look exactly the same, and you'd have like 15 people all looking exactly the same. So it actually does benefit from that race swap.
You know what is interesting in another way too? Like one of the main character is she's married to one of the Velaryons who's black, mixed, but she's having an affair with a white dude, and all her children look white, and so there's this. It's actually a really big subplot about how like no one believes that they're really her kids. They're bastards, and they all look white. They don't look black at all. But then everyone's like, "That's treason if you say that." Like, so it actually kind of makes it.
That reminds me of the storyline of Jamie and
it is. It's just like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Robert Baratheon, black of hair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like that. It's like a more obvious that they're bastards, I guess, because these are obvious. Yeah. So I don't know, but overall, it's a good show.
I know my brother likes it. My brother.
I don't want to convince you. I think the world will convince you next season.
I don't know. I can be kind of hard-headed. And plus, there's only a shit ton of other stuff I'd like to watch. I started watching The Old Man. I'm still watching Cobra Kai. And what else? Oh, The Boys. I'm not even done with The Boys.
I liked The Old Man. I watched that.
It's good so far. I'm only like halfway through the first episode. But it's good. What the heck are we doing talking about the old man right now?
I
watched an interview with a vampire today.
What's that, Simon?
I watched the first episode of Interview with a Vampire today. It's very good.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah. It's also very, very gay, which I like. It doesn't shy away from it like the movie did.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, wasn't the movie kind of? I thought.
Yeah.
There was subtext there, but this like, goes full on.
Yeah. It's one of those things.
What is that noise, Arturo?
It's Javier kind of just walking around closing the refrigerator.
Tearing the room apart. It's really loud. What is he doing?
Javier, she's saying it sounds like you're tearing the room apart.
Poor Javier.
Yeah.
It was really loud. I didn't know what the heck was happening.
Well, remember, I got a different microphone that's
I'm going to give you one of my dynamic mics, so that will block out a lot of that background noise.
Hold on.
In the future, sorry. Okay.
I thought he was going to fight for a second.
my daughter's boyfriend has moved here, and he's living with us, and so he stays in that same room where Arturo does his streaming. So he was just tromping around. Like and because Arturo has a condenser mic, it's just, it picks up everything. So it was really loud. Okay, while Arturo's gone, number 3 was Spider-Man 3.
Woo! I knew that was coming.
All these thirds movies.
Right? Oh, yeah, trilogies all over.
Spider 3, Shrek 3. Yeah. Spider-Man 3, I watched it. I was like, oh, that was good. And then I've never watched it again. I don't know.
What do you have to say about it, D? I can tell you want to say something.
So it's like a toss-up between this and X3 as far as probably the most disappointing kind of at the time, the most disappointing comic book prequel. I'll still say that I had more of an investment in X-Men, and I was more kind of I guess enraptured by the world and the characters and the powers and all that. And the way they ended X2 and us seeing the Phoenix in the water, I was like, I was ready. And like I told you, looking at it now, and not even just because of the other, kind of diminishing, X-Men movies, but really in general, it's not a bad movie in and of itself. It's just once you attach it to X2, that's kind of where the disconnect comes in. Yeah. But I can easily watch it now, and especially like I said, then you add in all these other films, it's like, okay, it's not that big a deal. But with Spider-Man, I enjoyed it, but I wasn't so gung ho. So going in, but I will say, like, I remember that first teaser where they showed the Black Spider-Man and
Venom. Yeah, I remember that.
And I think it was like a whole year before the movie.
Yeah, that's right.
We're talking about that one now because that one was third place.
Yeah, that I brought that up, and D had some things to say.
Well, yeah, it's actually been a while since I've seen that one. I do remember.
A lot of people were hyped about the like the Black Spider-Man suit and everything because they knew that. Well, I guess that was the first big hint that Venom was going to be there in some capacity. I liked it okay. I don't think it's as good as the first two, but I don't hate it.
Yeah, some people hated it because of how Tobey Maguire was, like, how he was acting, like when he was
in that picture that Simon put up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But that whole thing has become like a meme now on
I know,
on YouTube. Like
there you go, Dave.
Like mean Tobey, like bully
Maguire. They go Bully Maguire is what they call him.
What the heck? He's become a meme.
Yeah, he has. Or that part of the movie has.
Well, yeah, but like in general, like they've even taken quotes and stuff from him in like the first two as well, not just the third.
That scene even felt weird during Spider-Man 3. The first time I saw it, I was like, this is a weird tone shift, like back and forth. I don't know, in the middle of the movie.
When he started to be
the little music and dance part, I guess.
No,
he gets his groove back. I guess I just saw it like once, but remember feeling like, I think I liked it because I liked the music. I was like, yeah, but it still felt like weird, like
Odd.
short.
From what I can remember, there's a lot of studio interference with that movie, so Sam
yeah.
Raimi did his best.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. Like, make this
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
because I was gonna say the biggest issue is just how overstuffed it is. Like we have Gwen Stacy and we have the Vulture and we have Sandman, and then they ended up squeezing Venom in because he wasn't supposed to be in that. And even the studio interference is why we didn't get Spider-Man 4 because they were trying to like speed him up and we need you to push this out. And he was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So especially after the way that Spider-Man 3 went down. But I think it's and I think a lot of comic book films that aren't great, you still have fun with. But I think whenever you see the vision, especially when it involves like really special characters, same thing with X3. If we're talking about Dark Phoenix, and then we're talking about Venom, and we're talking about the symbiote, and like all of that, then that's kind of what gets diminished. And then you didn't get a chance to really flesh out, all these different villains. Oh, I forgot, they also had Harry as kind of the new Green Goblin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
They did a lot of cramming, and so that was kind of the issue. There wasn't enough time to really give the characters that needed time their time.
And it wasn't super long, was it? I don't think it was much more than 2 hours, was it? Or
if I can remember correctly, I mean, I did feel like they added a lot of like, let's see, Sandman, and of course the new Green Goblin, and then Venom. I mean, I don't know, like it's been a while since I've seen it, but I do remember that they crammed those villains all together in one film, and Venom was like his thing was kind of quick.
Very. Yeah, because they crammed him in there. He wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. It's actually 2 hours and 19 minutes.
Okay,
at least
so
with Sandman and even his friend, they had at least a bit of a time to kind of flesh them out a bit. But Venom was like, okay, he's here.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Well, I know.
But now everything ties into the MCU.
I know now.
Spider-Man's villains are complete.
That's right.
In movie form, Vulture, Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, and much more. Electro.
Mm-hmm.
All I'll say is he should have went with Ursula instead of that bitch Mary Jane.
Wait! Say that again.
Spider-Man should have gone with Ursula, his landlord's daughter.
Oh, that girl, the girl that gave him like chocolate cake, right?
Yes, exactly. She was really nice to him.
She was
and Mary
nice
Jane's
to
a fucking
him.
bitch.
Mary Jane kind of annoyed me.
Oh, you're not alone.
I'm glad to know I'm not alone because I didn't like her probably in any of the movies. Whoa, what was that? I heard myself.
Oh, what?
Oh, okay. I heard feedback. I heard myself talking.
So
Yeah, no, she was fickle, and I don't know. I don't know. It's not that it was Kirsten Dunst because she's okay, but I just didn't care for the way her character was written.
Yeah, I think it was the characterization.
It had to be. I didn't like the whole setup of how she got together with him. How she was engaged to be married, left her guy at the altar to go run off with him. That's supposed to be a happy ending, and to me, it's like, you idiot! Like, this is not a good character quality you want to be showing. It's like, I don't know. I didn't care for that.
And it's interesting. I find that's a thing they do in not every romance, but it's always like when there's some kind of like love triangle or some kind of complicated love story, they'll have that happen, and it's like we're supposed to root for the character, and it's like, this is kind of messed up.
No, it is because it's it makes you feel it's not like the person they're running away from was some sort of horrible abuser or anything. They just and this is why I don't care for that movie Sleepless in Seattle too much.
Oh, see, I haven't seen that.
Oh, the whole premise for that is like she falls in love with this guy over the radio. She's engaged to be married to this other dude, and he's a perfectly fine guy. He doesn't mistreat her, but she falls in love with Tom Hanks just because she hears him on the radio, and she travels all over looking for him. And it's like, it's supposed to be this wonderful romantic movie, and I'm like, that's just that's just messed up. That poor guy.
Yeah, that's not
I
right.
don't like that.
That's a whore.
It was a really popular romantic comedy film, and it's just
I don't get it.
Yeah, see, I've never seen that one, but I didn't realize like her following him around trying to because
she
he
was
was
trying to track him down because she heard him on the radio.
Wow, that's kind
of that's the entire premise.
It's kind of like that Dumb and Dumber scene where Jim Carrey's character just falls in love as soon as he sees the girl.
But he wasn't hooked up with anybody. Like he wasn't together with somebody at the moment, in that moment in time. So I don't know. That one felt different. As much as I hate Dumb and Dumber, at least his motivations were a little bit more pure.
That is true. That is true. We could give Dumb and Dumber credit for that one.
I know. They had a little more class in Dumb and Dumber.
Right. I can't believe I'm saying that.
John, or no, is it Joe?
What?
Is it Joe or John? I'm sorry, I keep forgetting it.
It's Joe.
Joe, hop on. You got a list right there.
Wow, No Country for Old Men. I completely forgot. Yes, I do. I hate Dumb and Dumber.
Joe, jump on this conversation right now.
Say what?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was looking through I was looking through Joe's list. He talks about There Will Be Blood.
Mm-hmm.
No Country for Old Men. That movie pissed me off.
Those two movies are like, to me, those were like the movies of the year. When I think 2007, I think of those.
You think of those? Okay.
Yeah.
I had forgotten about There Will Be Blood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Superbad, Disturbia, Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
Walk Hard's really funny.
Yeah.
I never saw that.
There's a Tim Meadows scene in that movie where he's talking about how awesome weed is, and it's like a classic bit that like I've rewatched and I reference all the time because like John C. Reilly walks in on Tim Meadows smoking weed. It's like, what are you doing? It's like, you don't want none of this, Dewey. It's like why? It's like it makes everything feel good. It's like it's the cheapest drug there is. It's like, well, like get addicted. It's never killed anybody. It's like I think I do want some of that. Sorry.
No, that's okay. But it didn't surprise me you'd like that quote, Colin.
Yeah, it's my favorite movie scene.
Number 4 was Shrek the Third, and I do remember seeing that at the theater that I work at now.
Yep.
I remember we were watching that movie. The one thing I remember about it was
that
we were watching it. There was a scene that was happening with Pinocchio.
Oh,
and then everything shut off, and I thought sort of like it was kind of hard of it, but no, it was like a storm on top of the theater, and it knocked out the power. I think it knocked it out like
for a little bit,
like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, and then it went out and then it came back, and I just remember this kid sitting on the same row as us. He kept saying, "What? This is such a ripoff," and I was thinking, it's not the theater's fault. They're not ripping you off. It's, complain to Mother Nature.
Yeah. I believe that was a nightmare for everybody in that theater at that time.
Yeah, you can identify now, can't you?
Yep, because
when that happens, it causes so much
bad.
chaos.
It is so bad.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's like a threequel. Like there's 3 threequels that came out the same month. You had Spider-Man 3, Pirates of the Caribbean 3, and Shrek 3. Threequels.
Yep.
None of them are particularly memorable for me.
Exactly. Yeah. I feel the same.
No Return of the Jedi's in there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It was. I felt kind of underwhelmed by Shrek the Third. I think my favorite was the second one.
That one was good, from what I can remember.
I remember. I liked it. What's that?
I had a question for you, Sam. Really quickly, because I wanted to know, is there anything that could have made? I haven't read the comments, so I don't know. But do you personally? Is there anything that?
Oh, here we go.
Character better.
I'm sorry. Arturo was making noise over you. I didn't hear. Repeat that again about something about comics.
Yeah, no. I was saying because I didn't read. As far as the question, I haven't read the comics, so I don't know like the specifics. But for you personally, what could they have done with Mary Jane to make her work better within like the trilogy?
Not make her such an idiot.
That's a simple way to put it. Yeah.
So it's been a long time since I read Spider-Man comics. I do remember Mary Jane. I remember Gwen Stacy. I had the comic that came out like when she died. You know, the picture of him holding her on the. I don't know what happened to it. Probably one of the many comics I gave to my brothers that they butchered. But I probably remember Gwen Stacy the most just because of that particular event. But I do remember Mary Jane, and I don't remember her being as unlikable in nature as she came across in the movies. But then again, I was quite young, so if she was, I didn't pick up on that. But I just didn't. I don't know. I just didn't like how she was. Is she that way? Did you read Spider-Man, Colin, at all?
No,
Because I don't remember her being like that.
I mostly just read X-Men comics.
I read X-Men too. Yeah, I like X-Men as
I
well.
really need to read some of those from the 90s. I have like a bunch.
X-Men, Spider-Man, Batman, Justice League, Dazzler, and then there was another where this girl got her powers through electricity, and I don't even remember her doggone name. But yeah, no, I don't know. Other than that, just
I think your favorite Marvel character was Storm.
she was my favorite X-Men.
Yeah,
because she was cool.
Yeah, Storm's
she had the cool white hair and the cool suit, and I just thought she was awesome.
Like,
and
was she your favorite,
really
or was there like another?
No,
one
she was. She was my favorite X-Men. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
I mean, like in
was.
Marvel.
Well, there's different. I mean, there's like Spider-Man. He wasn't really part of the, and then for DC, probably Wonder Woman was my favorite, but also in the Justice League, I really liked Vixen because she was a really cool character, especially when I read her. I liked her outfit. She had these, like how Wolverine's hair goes like this. Her hair kind of did like that, but then she had like dreads or braids, and then she had this cool belt type thing that she wore, and she was cat-like. I don't know. I just liked her. I thought she was cool.
Nice. You always like the cat-like characters. I want to be a cat.
They see, but yet I like dogs best. So it's really weird. I think cats just transfer into human form better, maybe.
Dog-like characters. Yeah, they're more cat-like. I don't know. Yeah,
like sneaky.
Yeah.
I like Simon's changing the pictures.
I know. Look at him.
Okay, so number 4 was Transformers, probably the only good one.
I love Transformers. I love that movie.
I remember
so
seeing
much.
that one. That was really fun.
That one, me too. Actually, in the theater, that was one that the rare, maybe not rare back then, but maybe one of the last times I went to a midnight show for a movie was back then.
Oh wow, that's right, because that's when they used to do it. Like the Thursday night previews were really early Friday morning.
Yeah,
midnight.
Oh my gosh, I'm glad they don't do that anymore.
It was the midnight show where they went all the time, and I hadn't gone for a while because didn't have anyone to go with, and it was just a lazy summer night. I was really bored, and I saw a preview for it. I'm like, why am I not going? I'm going. I'm doing it, and I went.
Oh my
and it was
gosh,
like
Simon.
a full. Oh no! Oh, that's not a Transformers thing.
No,
is that
find
Shia?
a better picture. Yeah, find a better picture of when he was in the first movie. Come on.
But it was like a full audience, and it was like the best way to see that movie.
Oh yeah, I remember like in detail watching it in movie theaters. Yeah, but even before they even played that, they played that music video, "Citizen Soldiers."
Oh yeah, they used to play that. It was by Three Doors Down, right?
No,
Three Doors Down.
That one.
Is that the name of the group? And they played this. It was like a promo music video for the was it the National
song.
Guard?
I guess it was maybe just the Army or something. I'm not sure. Maybe
the Army
Marines.
or National Guard or something, and it's called Citizen Soldier. And there was something really cool about the way they did that video. That's right, they were playing that back then.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I don't think they do it that much anymore.
I remember thinking like, come on, like kids cartoon, it's Michael Bay. I'll see. That's what I mean. Like I kind of waited till the last minute. And I was like, screw it, I'll go see it. But like, I was actually surprised by how it was funnier than I thought it would be. And just, the action was good.
The effects were really good.
Effects were really good.
The cars were pretty cool. And
I
like the live action, like that live action movie more than because we went to go see the the movie, the Transformers movie, like the cartoon movie. Oh, it was
Oh,
terrible.
He's,
I hated it.
yeah.
I hated it so much. It was so boring.
Well, I liked some of the cartoons that they aired at the time, like, but maybe it had a little more of an anime form to it. I always thought it was kind of
80s
cartoon.
cartoon. I kind of missed. I guess I was just a little too old, or I just never got into the Transformers as a kid. So that was another. I didn't really have nostalgia for it.
I know in the movie they actually did get real soldiers for the beginning scene.
Some of those scenes, yeah.
Yeah,
And
like they were the soldiers like that were on break or something, or.
So the one thing I remember about Transformers from back in the 80s, I would see it a little bit, but not very often. But I used to stand in front of a fan, say Transformers, yeah.
Robot in disguise.
And then I would also, if I didn't have a fan, I could do it by just like moving my hand.
Yeah. Yeah, some of the stuff in there were just funny. Like, where's the phone? Left cheek, left cheek,
Yep, yeah.
left cheek. That scene was also pretty good. The whole shooting of the whatever.
The music, the score. I loved the score. Yeah, I love the score in that movie.
John Turturro was funny, and
yeah,
the Hoover Dam was awesome for like memorable, like against all these giant robots. That was a good set piece because I feel like I remember all these big shots with the Hoover Dam area and the robots climbing around. That was cool, and
yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was so good. I could watch it again on the. I actually, it's been years since I've seen it. I would like to watch it again. I wish they'd bring it back to the big screen. That would be really cool.
They're bringing another one back. You know, you've probably heard that.
No, I haven't.
Good or bad, I don't know. I don't even know who's doing it or who's in it or directing. I just saw that.
I think the Good Days for Transformers is done, like movie wise. I think the only good one out of everything was the first one.
Well, I liked Bumblebee, but
I was going to ask.
Oh yeah, Bumblebee was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. That's probably the best of the other, the follow up Transformers movies.
Yeah, none of the follow-ups were good, but I have to say I have a guilty pleasure for the first one with Marky Mark and the dinosaurs.
Oh gosh.
I don't know.
I was going to ask you how you felt about that scene, especially with the family dynamic and all that stuff.
Well, I watched it sort of in passing, but I just remember that I wasn't super impressed with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't have a lot of memories in my brain as far as about the family dynamic or anything like that. I just remember it's like, I'll watch it, and I wasn't super impressed. Yeah. So I wasn't impressed enough to pay a ton of attention because it was something I was playing while I was working.
Right.
So I don't think they can repeat the fun that was the first movie. I don't know. There's something really cool about it.
I think they nailed it. Yeah, it was really good.
Some people really hate it. Like some people can't stand it. They thought it was terrible, and I was like, "What movie are you watching?" Yeah, the first one, especially.
Oh, I really love it. Aftershock. Oh, I hate these.
Oh yeah, that guy. And then he was like, "Oh, Sugar Rush."
oh yeah, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me, criminal. Oh, Sugar Rush.
Sugar Rush. Those guys
he was funny.
He was funny.
Like, I will say the one thing that my mom, it's because we both enjoyed it when we went to go see it, but she said she got dizzy during some of the fights, especially on the highway, because it was just like this. But then she could see where they improved it to where it wasn't quite so jumbled with some of the action. And like when we saw like the next couple, she was like, "Oh, okay, I can see I'm a little more clear on what's going on and how they improved."
Did she get the baddies mixed up with the good guys? Because sometimes it's hard to tell who's fighting because they're all these big robots.
Yeah, and it would just be like, I think we were clear on like initially kind of who was who, and of course it's introductory, so it's still kind of getting a sense for who's who. But yeah, for some of the fights, it's just that all you would see is just all these parts like clicking and smashing together. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and there were several times I would lose who was who. But so I'd be a little confused, but whatever. Diehard fans probably knew exactly what they were looking at.
Yeah, right.
when they were fighting. I would get the plain ones because there was like a good plane and a bad plane, I think. And I would get them mixed up. I couldn't tell which one was which. They looked the same to me.
Right.
But anyway, but Optimus Prime's really cool because I love that he returned and did the voice. And then I found out recently that he did the voice of King Kong in the 70-something movie, like the 76 movie. Like, I guess the roars or the whatever.
Really?
I thought that was really cool. I was impressed with that. So, a little bit of trivia for you.
Number 6 was Ratatouille.
Ratatouille.
I've still never seen Ratatouille, actually.
I've still never seen it either. And I don't know why. I don't have an aversion. I just never went out of my way.
We saw that one in movie theaters, I remember.
I think I've only seen it once.
How was it?
And I enjoyed it. We didn't have rats back in the day. Now I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, you're the rat. You got pet rats, so.
Yeah, we didn't at the time. I'm trying to figure out what is this?
A demon?
What is this from?
Oh, just like a demon rat.
Oh,
Is that what that is? It looks like an alligator to me.
I was right. Oh, wow.
I love rats. I think probably if I watched it now, I would appreciate it more because we've since had pet rats many times.
I really like Patton Oswalt. I think he's a really funny actor and stand-up. I really like him. So I would.
Was he the voice of the main character?
Yeah, he's
Did he kill his wife?
He didn't kill his wife.
No, I don't
He didn't
know.
eat his
No,
wife.
you give her an accidental overdose or something like that.
How did she
wait,
die?
didn't they mention? You know what? That's bringing back a memory. Didn't they say something in that movie about that, or am I mistaken?
In what movie?
Ratatouille.
Oh no.
Oh no, because she was still alive.
I don't really know. I don't want to say. I thought she had some medicine reaction or something, some medical condition.
Multiple prescription drugs.
Yeah. No,
several of them were not prescribed. I mean, I never had heard that he was responsible. That was suspected he was responsible. You think so? Really? I don't know enough about it to know at all.
You're joking. You can't see the tone.
Is that what it is? Okay. All right.
Patton Oswalt, he couldn't hurt a fly. He's such a softie. That's one reason I love him so much.
That's what they say about all serial killers.
Yeah.
No, she was writing a book on like the serial killer that got caught after she died or something. Or like it's one of the West Coast famous serial killers that eluded capture.
The Golden State Killer?
Yeah.
That's right. That is because I remember they were referencing her in some podcast, a true crime podcast that I was listening to, and they talked about her and they talked about her dying, and I was like, well, who is this person that died? And then I found out, oh, that was Patton Oswalt's wife.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh yeah, and they had a little baby daughter together too, or daughter, I think, baby daughter. So.
Oh, your daughter, yes.
She's now married to Natty Gann. Do you remember that movie?
Wait.
The Adventures of Natty Gann from like 86, 87?
Like a long time ago? He's now married to her?
Yeah, Meredith something.
No.
Really?
Yeah, Meredith.
Oh, I didn't know she was an actress.
I remember her. Oh yeah. She was an actress.
Gotta look that up.
She played in a movie with the two Coreys from the 80s.
Hart and Feldman.
Yeah.
Meredith Salinger.
Not Hart. Corey Haim. Corey Haim and Corey Feldman.
Oh, okay.
Dream a Little Dream.
Yeah. I remember watching that only because I had seen them in Lost Boys. Speaking of Lost Boys, it's coming to the big screen tomorrow. Artur and I are going to go see it on the big screen. I'm so excited. I've never seen it on the big screen. So I'm looking forward to that.
Wait, tomorrow? I thought it was the 12th.
No, it's tomorrow. Tomorrow. So that'll be fun. I've only seen it 50,000 times. I don't know how much the big screen's going to be any different, but I think it'll be fun.
I recently just saw that with a little cousin.
That wasn't your first time, was it?
That was my second time.
Oh, okay. Okay, so number 7.
I Am Legend.
That one, I Am Legend, yeah. I haven't seen it.
Good. And not into zombies? Is there a reason?
You like zombies, so it kind of surprises me. Well, they're not really zombies, but they're not normal. Whatever.
Zombie
But
adjacent.
they're sort of like, aren't they supposed to be like
day or something, right?
vampire type? Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh
but,
my gosh,
oh,
Simon.
geez, okay.
Nice.
All right. So I didn't like the ending of I Am Legend, and I would have preferred that they go with the alternate ending that they filmed.
Right. I heard about that.
That's like my main thing. It's like, why? And then the dog, oh my gosh, the dog. Sam, you spend the whole time thinking it's, because he calls her Sam, and then you find out it's Samantha, and it's like, oh, it's a girl. And the reason that really broke my heart was because we had a female German Shepherd that we'd had to put down, and so that just like,
that's already, that scene's almost too much.
Yeah,
that's rough.
Scene of the movie.
That was rough. It's like, please don't let the dog die, and then the dog died. Damn it!
That's a movie that, like, I wanted to like so much. I wanted to love so much, and I feel like I almost like kept convincing myself that I was into it, and it just, it's not bad. I think it's just so CG heavy, or some of
and the CG's
oh
not
man,
so
back
great.
then, that used to be great effects. Like I remember when Assassin's Creed came out that year, and I thought the graphics were something else. All these games coming out at the time, and even these movies coming out at the time, and now when you look back at them, it's like, well, we have improved.
For sure. Yeah.
It never really worked for me. That was one that like it was okay. It's not like it was bad. I feel like I watched it again because I was like, no, surely this movie's awesome. I just didn't pay attention enough. But then no, it's just it's just okay. I think it seems like a movie that would be awesome, but I don't know.
Is it my imagination, or are they making a sequel? Have you heard anything about that?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, Fantastic Four. We saw that one that year. Didn't that come out?
Oh yeah, we did. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, I remember watching.
But we
that
did
one.
go
That
see
had
it.
Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember Lawrence Fishburne was the voice.
Oh wow, I forgot he was.
Yeah, I kind of like the kind of the same way with some of those early 2000 comic book movies. Just kind of like, kind of maybe cheesy, a little goofy, but just kind of like general fun for the most part. I knew it probably wasn't the best representation, and I didn't know that much other than the animated show of Fantastic Four. But for the most part, I thought those first two films were enjoyable, and they only improve when you look at the other Fantastic Four films.
Oh yeah, that one. Well, we don't even count that one.
Well, I looked at it just a little bit. I'm like, goodness, why does the quality and the stuff look so bad?
You talking about that other Fantastic
that remake of or
oh no, wait. I thought you were talking. Okay, hold on, D. Are you talking about the newer one or the one from a long time ago, like back in the 90s?
Oh no, not that.
Oh, you're talking about the newer one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sorry. That one wasn't so great.
And it was crazy because once I found out, and like I said, if something isn't good, something isn't good. But when I found out that they only made it simply because the rights were going to revert back to Marvel, it was like, oh, okay, well that makes sense. You guys didn't give a what about this, and just kind of threw it out there like, hey, let's keep the rights. But it makes sense if you throw out like, how is anyone supposed to invest in or care about this, and how does it speak to your, I guess, company or your handling of this property if you just throw it out here like this and nobody.
Right. Yeah, no, it was pretty bad. What a waste of money and time, honestly.
Yeah.
Like some of the crap that gets made, I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Shoot 'em Up was like Sashi shouted out that movie. Shoot 'em Up. That was a surprising, fun movie.
I forgot all about that film.
Thinking about it, I'm like, I would watch that again. It's been
It's been a minute since I saw that. What's that?
Is it Clive Owen?
Yeah, Clive Owen. and it looks like a generic action movie, and in some ways, kind of, but it just felt like it was just a little like faster and cooler, and had a little more style and flair than your average action movie.
I forgot about that one. Wow, Arturo, you probably would like that one.
It's a good one. It is. It's a little bit better than your average action movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
Number 8, the Simpsons movie.
Oh my gosh, I forgot all of that.
I never saw that one. I'm not crazy about the Simpsons.
They're all right.
They had like a guy that I guess was supposed to be Arnold Schwarzenegger as the president or something.
Oh, yeah, in that movie?
Yeah, well, I remember in the trailer, like he was talking like Arnold.
Yeah.
Okay. No, not much commentary on that one, huh?
Well,
I was moving along.
I grew up watching. I mean, and when I say watching, kind of as a kid, it was always something that we wanted to have on the television. And I will say, to me, as someone, I never like got into it. But I will say, like, as someone who was somewhat removed from the actual show, the film in and of itself was actually really fun.
Really?
Yeah. So I think like it has its own thing, and if you're not really into The Simpsons, I think you could still watch the film and enjoy it. Like, and that kind of was where I fell with it. I was like, oh, this is actually kind of fun. Still, like I said, didn't change how I felt about me being into the series, but just like the way they kind of took that story, and it was just really funny. It was kind of fun time.
I think the reason why I've never really cared about The Simpsons and the artwork, I just don't like the art. It just looks so ridiculous.
I watched only one. I think I watched only one episode of The Simpsons.
Been around forever.
It was either when we were at a hotel or something, and it just never really got into it. It's a real life Simpson that's.
I was wondering if that's what that was supposed to be, because
it's like every time we mention something, he has.
I know, he changes it up, like he's running off to the internet to go find something to put
up.
Like, so is the style like the fact that they're yellow, or just literally the art style of it?
It's the art style. I just don't like. I don't like. That's part of the reason why I don't really watch like South Park, even though I know South Park is supposed to be really good and people love South Park. I just. And there's other things too. There's like, I haven't seen The Nightmare Before Christmas because I don't like that style, even though it's supposed to be super pop. Yeah, I don't like the way the characters look. It's not visually appealing to me. Yeah, I don't care. Don't care for it. Oh, and another thing I didn't like was Into the Spider-Verse. Was that what it was called? The one with Miles Morales?
Yeah, you didn't like that style.
That Kingpin, I liked the style of the other characters, but Kingpin was awful. I couldn't stand the way they made him. So he just doesn't even look like a person.
Right.
I didn't mind the art style, but yeah, Kingpin looked
interesting.
Yeah, I think
most the only thing Sin really likes art wise is either like some of the DC cartoon movies, or just I guess the cartoons.
I just don't like things that are drawn ridiculously.
Okay.
To me, I like it's kind of hard to get into
the DC stuff. Their stuff's really good.
I like DC animated stuff. I don't know what's this. Something what? What is this?
Oh, that's a Family Guy Star Wars.
Oh,
parody.
okay.
Yeah.
Something Dark Side.
Yeah, that was good. All three of
and
those.
then, of course, you like more of the anime style as well.
Yeah, I like anime style animation. But yeah, I don't know.
So, like, out of the two animation things I really like, or art wise, is the DC stuff, and then, of course, the anime.
Are you more into refined animation, Sam?
Like, by refined, you mean the way like the DC animations work, or the animations of Disney back in the day?
Or even if you've seen Hayao Miyazaki's, like his stuff, like it's more kind of like high.
Yeah.
It's just kind of the more distinctive, and it has like a certain kind of polish or kind of layer to it.
Tell me what he's done, because I know that
Spirited
Spirited Away.
Princess Mononoke.
Oh, and Castle. Did he also do Howl's Moving Castle, which we weren't able to go to? I like that animation. Okay, yeah, I like the animation. It's Princess
different
Mononoke.
compared
I
to
like
other
Spirited
ones.
Away. I didn't like some of the weird stuff in Spirited Away, like the witch lady with the big head and big hair and tiny body. I was like, okay, she looks weird.
I think that was the point. It's a magical
I
realm.
know it was the point, but I
I know
like
you like Princess
animated
Mononoke
characters
more.
to look, because they look like normal people. I like animated characters to look like people, or
Helsing,
if they're animals, I like them to look like a regular animal. Like one of
Alchemist.
my top 10 films is Secret of Nim, and that's
Oh, yeah.
animated.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah.
I love that movie so much.
Yes.
I do want to
So-
get into like some of the older like cartoons, like the X-Men cartoon from the 2000s, early 2000s. I would really like to watch
From
that.
the 90s, I love the theme song of the X-Men from the
Oh, I do
90s.
Well, I wouldn't mind
Oh.
checking that out, but there was this one from the 2000s I remember that would play on Cartoon Network. Oh, Teen Titans was also really good.
Teen Titans,
That
yeah.
was a good one. It's just too bad they went with Teen Titans Go.
Oh,
I
know.
haven't.
Fun fact.
seen that
Fun
one.
fact. The guy that I'm pretty sure most people now know, but the guy that did Cyborg was in The Walking Dead as the King. Did anybody know that?
The King, the one who had
Yeah,
the
the
one
one
who
that
had
had
the tiger.
Yep.
Oh, that was Cyborg.
Yep.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Are you looking forward to the remake
Of Walking Dead.
of X-Men '97?
Oh,
I heard iffy things.
Oh,
Like
okay.
the writer they got, it just seems like they're. I don't know.
I've heard only stuff about it just in passing. So I don't know enough about it to know whether I'm looking forward to it or not.
yeah.
I like that I like that Homer Simpson.
Yeah, it's been up a bit. I'm waiting to see what else he's going to throw out at us.
It
Right.
makes me a little uncomfortable.
I was gonna say I am excited for it because I love, of course, the original animated series, and I think I saw a couple of, or been one, like a shot of Scott / Cyclops, and it looks very akin to how it did when we left off. So I think if they can really take that and really like keep that going and kind of circle back to everything that made the original series great, I'm here for it because I love that.
What platform is it coming on? Disney Plus, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay.
I heard they brought back a lot of the same cast.
The voice cast?
Well,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
That's to me. That's the coolest thing.
Speaking of, what do you guys think of Disney like requiring Bleach?
What's Bleach?
Oh,
The
it's an
anime.
anime.
Oh, acquiring. I thought you said
Like they got the rights
sounded
to
like
like at
you
least
did say requiring.
reacquire, maybe.
well, no, they bought the
Acquiring.
rights. They bought the
Acquiring.
rights to.
And Bleach is an anime.
Yeah,
like,
and
yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, why? Because Bleach is kind of not suited for kids.
Yeah, Disney's branching out. I was just talking about that, where it seemed like, oh man, such a big deal. Disney bought like Marvel and Star Wars, Fox, and then now I'm thinking, like, man, if they didn't have that, who would care about Disney? You know what I mean? Like, what else do they have? Like, I feel like that's a big stretch, but I feel like that's half or more of the selling point of Disney now is that stuff that they got there to keep up with the huge.
Well, something I heard a while back on the radio, I can't remember where it was, but they were talking about how basically really and I don't know how true this is, but like Disney's primary goal is, so like their biggest moneymaker, it's their parks.
Yeah.
So that's why they throw this money into all these different, IPs, is because that draws the people to the parks.
Right.
So they can afford to toss a crap ton of money at maybe a movie or a show that's not going to do so well, but it might spark, it can spark interest to bring people to the parks. The problem is if they throw out so much trash, people are going to lose interest in the parks.
Yeah.
Eventually.
That's kind of my issue with Marvel right now. I think they're overwhelming
I'm not
themselves with too much.
impressed. Yeah, it's too much. They're just saturating the market with whatever
fast.
they can to see what's going to stick with audiences, and it's subpar.
Can I interrupt real quick?
Yeah. So, hey Jeff, go ahead.
I don't know if you can even see this. Oh, maybe. See what it says there?
I can't see what it says.
Second line.
Unicorn piss.
Unicorn piss. It's the flavor of weed they got.
Okay.
I love this brand because they started out with like orange and grape and watermelon. And
I
I
had
was
no
like,
idea whatever. Okay, unicorn piss. Well, all right.
They've evolved unicorn piss.
Oh my gosh.
That's what I'm smoking.
That's
now.
interesting.
Well,
How would
speaking
they
of,
know what unicorn piss tastes like?
Speaking
like-
of Disney, the number 9 on the list was National Treasure Book of Secrets.
I remember
Yes.
watching that.
We actually saw
Yeah.
it
We
January
saw
of
that
08.
up in
Didn't
Boston.
really-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It wasn't as fun as the first one. I wish I had seen the first one on the big screen. But
Yeah, because I never got to see the first one, but I did enjoy the second one. I can only imagine how you feel about that series that's coming out.
which series?
National
the National
Treasure.
Treasure series?
Oh, I don't remember hearing about it. So
Oh,
I'm not as in the loop as you think with
Oh.
some stuff. Some stuff really just goes right on. I mean, I
heard
know
about
of a lot of stuff, but I missed that one.
Well, Sin, you got to jump on the bandwagon for this one because
Dude,
at least
I'm
I can keep
busy.
up with stuff.
I've been
I can
so
keep up with
busy.
And then number 10 was 300. I thought 300 came out the year before, but I guess I was wrong.
Man, 300, so much hype. Again, I wanted to love it, and I was like, I do not understand
Chris.
why everyone loves this
Chris.
movie. It was the biggest drop off to me from like the trailer to the movie. It was the coolest trailer I think I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
And the movie, nice segment.
What is this avatar now? I can't tell.
Slow. The movie
What?
just so slow for me.
I can't
Beth?
tell what I'm looking at. I even maximized the screen.
I know where that's from, but I can't.
It's from Meet the Spartans.
That's what I was
A
wondering.
parody.
Oh,
300.
okay.
Simon and his
Well-
avatars.
I think 300 made a splash because of its visual style.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But the
And then
movie was so, in my opinion, the movie was so slow that it wasn't enough that it had cool visuals.
This is Sparta.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of abs going on.
A lot of abs. Let's check that one.
That's probably the best shape Gerard Butler's ever been in his life.
Yeah.
But it was okay.
That's how I
I
felt.
wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't blown away by it. I didn't hate it, but I wasn't blown away by it.
Yeah. And I find, and I don't know if it's because I don't know if it's an unconscious thing, but I find that like with Gladiator, with the Spartacus show, with 300, I don't know if it's just because I was so into Rome as a series. And granted, Rome is a very kind of grounded, gritty, in your face. You know, it involves politics and kind of the day-to-day stuff. And there's a whole kind of different storylines and characters going on there. But I wonder if maybe because I was so invested in that series and there was something so kind of authentic to that, I think maybe there's a disconnect. Even though I've enjoyed aspects of like 300, Spartacus, Gladiator, I think because I've had that experience, looking at kind of these big budget kind of aspects of it, I don't necessarily connect to those as much, even though they're well made.
I thought 300 had to focus on the Greece. Was it Roman?
No,
It was Greece.
yeah,
Oh,
it
you
was.
mean
And
like-
it was based on the Frank Miller comic book.
Yes,
Hence the visuals.
Just similar tone. I think he's
right, but it was
What came
about
first?
that.
Was it that or Sin City?
I thought they were both. You talking about
No,
Frank
which
Miller?
came first? Yeah.
Sin City.
So maybe going off that.
No, we haven't mentioned that yet, and I actually did not get around to watching it. I sort of had it planned in the back of my brain to watch it, and then I never did because I heard it was such a train wreck, and then I was like, well, maybe I'll watch it, but then I never. Has anybody seen this movie? Because he mentioned it
I
at
don't
the
know.
last.
I just
in
know
the
that
name
Jason Statham is in it. Is that the same movie?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I remember
Oh.
it, but I can't see it.
I'm scrolling down on the list now for all the movies that came out, but Smoking Ace, we saw that one.
Smoking
my-
Aces.
I like Smoking Aces. I like those kind of crazy.
You like smoking unicorn piss. We can't really
I smoke
trust your
about it.
judgment.
That's a good nice sounding. That's good. I like those crazy chaotic movies with all sorts of
It
like
was
A
chaotic.
big ensemble cast.
yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
it was almost an all-star. It even had the guy from Hell on Wheels, which I didn't.
Common.
Yeah,
It was like, I don't know if I should say B-list all-star, but it was like kind of, I don't know if that's the term.
You
'cause
mean
it-
B-list at the time? Because Ryan Reynolds wasn't really big then.
Yeah, that's true. I
Yeah.
felt
Ben Affleck was in it.
well, wait a minute.
in between
Ro-
A and B, I guess. It
By
felt
this
Yeah.
point,
like stars.
Ben Affleck and Ryan Reynolds were like in 2 Marvel movies prior.
No.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds was in Blade 3.
Oh
and
yeah, Blade
then
3. I
Ben
thought you were
Affleck
talking
played
about
Daredevil.
yeah, I thought you were talking about
X-Men Origins.
Green Lantern.
Oh, Green Lantern. Yeah.
Yeah, but he was referring to Blade Trinity.
Yeah.
With Ryan Reynolds.
I
But
was
he wasn't super established though at that point.
At least
so
not
I see what
yet.
Colin is saying, but it was some crazy stuff going on in that movie.
Yes, a lot of things going on. It
was a
did
little bit
feel
more
like a Guy
comedic than
Ritchie movie in some aspects.
It did, yeah, it did.
Like
it was
that.
more comedic than I thought it would be too. Sin. Yeah, it was just like
But you
all
guys still,
All this chaos happening, and I totally, you know what? It took me a while to realize that was freaking Chris Pine in there in the
totally
role of that.
that.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was him until like the end of the movie. I was like, "That's Chris Pine." He looks so funny. He didn't look like himself at all,
No.
and the way he was talking to was funny.
Um,
And I remember that scene because I know Alicia Keys was in this film, but I just remember
Yeah.
she was waiting for the elevator, and then it comes down, and those guys are just standing inside, and she's just kind of like,
Yeah.
Sin, I think you've seen this one. I remember seeing bits of it when it was playing. But have you watched The Messengers, which has the girl from Twilight, some I guess horror ghost movie?
Oh yeah, I did see that.
I remember seeing bits of that.
I saw that. I remember liking it, but I couldn't tell you much about it. I thought
I didn't know it was that old.
Yeah, I didn't realize it
This was
that
like
old
before
either.
her Twilight years.
Yes, it was before her
Like a
Twilight.
year
Don't get all
before.
choked up, Colin. Is that unicorn piss bothering you?
Oh goodness.
You okay?
Why have the unicorn?
I wanted to jump back to Smoking Aces real quick, and Dee mentioned Alicia Keys. Was that her first role? And has she been in other stuff since? Because I only knew her as a singer, and then she showed up in that movie.
right. I think, if I'm not mistaken, because I want to say it was the year. Oh, maybe that was after the fact. I think that was her first role because I was trying to figure whether it was that or The Secret Life of Bees, but Secret Life of Bees was after the fact. So I actually do think this was her first role.
I thought she did pretty good
Yeah,
in there.
I like it.
she's pretty.
Yeah, she is pretty. So, okay. Well, it was a bloody, chaotic film, and
Yes.
the reveal at the end, and then what ended up happening to was Smoking like Ace or whatever the heck his name was. It was kind of funny.
What did you pick now, Simon?
Right.
Who is that?
John Travolta.
And that's funny. That's not even like
What?
a scene from a movie that was released to the general public. Like, what were we thinking?
What is that from?
Hairspray.
Oh, Hairspray. Oh, I never saw Hairspray. That's why I didn't recognize. Gosh, I'd
What
forgotten all
John
about
Waters considers his most insidious movie because it
Right.
infiltrated just normal culture.
John, what? Yeah.
People sing the songs at high school and everything, and
I don't know much about the story. I never saw the movie or anything, so I don't know. I don't even know what's the big deal with it.
it's just it's a John Waters movie.
All right.
Now I remember seeing this in movie theaters, and I actually still like this movie. Ghost Rider.
Oh yeah, that was
Nicolas
2007.
Cage.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I always thought Ghost Rider was a badass. He's just so cool. Black
And he showed up.
suit.
He showed up at Dragon Con.
Oh yeah, he did show up in Dragon Con with multiple other characters from different universes. Yeah, I mean, I always liked it. I know people don't like kind of sort of bash on it, but I still like it. Nicolas Cage did a good job.
It was enjoyable. It's not the best comic book movie ever, but it was enjoyable. And the second movie, Ghost Rider 2, I didn't like it nearly as much as the first
Yeah.
one, but that is the movie that I first paid attention to Idris Elba as an actor. Because
Oh,
I
yeah.
noticed him because he had these gold eyes. Okay. And then he shows up in, I can't remember. Then he shows up in Thor.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He shows up in Thor, but he
With
also
gold eyes. And I thought, I was like, are his eyes really that?
Oh wow.
He had gold eyes in both. And I heard that in Ghost Rider, I think he just wanted to have his eyes like that because he thought it was cool.
Cool.
So, but by the second time I saw him showing up with gold eyes, I was like, he's got the most fascinating eyes. They weren't even real.
he was in that British show where he's a detective. I do want
Luther.
to watch that.
I love that show.
I do want to watch that.
Actually, the girl that played in that movie we saw, Arturo, See How They Run, the detective movie that we saw a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
She the one of the girls in there plays in Luther. She plays like one of the baddies, like
Which
sort of
girl?
his nemesis. She was like the girl that was in charge of the production of the play.
Oh,
Dee, have you seen that movie yet?
yes, I have. You talking about Ruth Wilson? I think that's her.
Is that her name? Yeah. She was
Yeah.
Alice in Luther, right? Her name was Alice.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, but yeah, when you said the person, because I've seen her, I think she's kind of underrated. If this is the same actress, in Saving Mr. Banks, she portrays the mother of the author of Mary Poppins.
Yes, Chris.
Oh,
yeah,
I haven't seen
Wait,
that.
She's also the main antagonist in oh my gosh, in The Golden Compass, the new show on HBO.
Oh yes, that's right. I remember her in the trailer.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that yet.
Are you talking about the girl that played like the police officer?
No, not the girl who was a police officer, but the lady who
was running the.
She had an older mother, and she was running the production.
Yeah,
she wasn't in there a ton, but so I thought of you when I was watching. I know this is a tangent, but I thought of you when I was watching. I even mentioned you in my review because it's a period piece.
Oh yes, it is.
Did you enjoy it? I enjoyed the heck out of it. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I would like to get it on DVD or Blu-ray.
Yeah, it's like one of those because I love. I don't know if I probably said it when I did Death on the Nile or whatever review for that, but I like whodunits anyway. I just think they're kind of fun, and I think they're really. I mean, you can go either direction. They can be really dark and serious, but I also like when they can kind of be quirky and fun.
Yeah.
And so I like that they kind of took that approach with this particular one, and kind of having. I mean, it was star-studded cast. I think some people were, more known than others, but I like that. We just had a mix of so many different people that I at least knew. And I don't know, just like there's just some films that are just going into it, it's going to be like a good time. Like it's just very charming and very like get to just kind of relax and enjoy, and that's kind of how I felt about it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, and I didn't realize it was going to be as comedic as it was.
Oh yeah. I missed like the beginning portion of that movie because I was actually working.
Yeah, he was.
And I thought I had to stay pretty much, but no, they said I can go. So I just went and hopped in, even though I missed the beginning. I still actually enjoyed it. I could tell like it was really fun just watching whatever I was watching.
Yeah, it was enjoyable. So
yeah, I think I missed the review. I have to go back and watch it.
What's that?
I think I have to go out and watch it.
I think you said you had to go back. Sorry, Dee, you were cutting out pretty bad.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. You were talking about.
No, I'm saying. Yeah. No, I missed your review. I have to go back and watch it.
Oh, the review. I thought you were talking about the movie that you're going to have to go back and rewatch it. I thought that's what you were saying.
Oh no.
Anyway, it was fun. So
the next one, Zodiac.
Oh, Zodiac.
Mm.
Have y'all seen that?
I've heard overwhelmingly positive things about Zodiac.
It is really good. I like this year was the first time I ever watched it. I remember back when like in '07, I remember seeing trailers for it.
Yeah.
And I kind of got this creepy vibe out of it because I remember being told how he was a serial killer that would like kill people, and I'm like, ooh. And then now years later, I watch it and I'm like, man, this movie was so like really well crafted. Actually, I heard that they use CGI for mostly like I guess city environment or scenery just to make it look, like back in that time. And to be honest, that probably has okay, when it comes to CGI and all that, like of this year, that was probably the best CGI because you couldn't even
It wasn't
tell.
intrusive.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, like you like for this year, that has to be the best. That okay, Transformers, that one was really good, but like when it comes to that, you couldn't even tell.
Yeah, that's when CGI is good, and they do that a lot more than you would think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like cityscapes, changing the way the buildings look and stuff like that.
And it had like 3 actors that would all come together in the MCU.
In the MCU, eventually, yeah, that's funny. I liked it. The problem with my inability to enjoy it as much as I wanted to is just because the frustration of knowing that they never really caught Zodiac.
Yeah.
And so this still sort of unsolved mystery aspect of it is frustrating for me. So I didn't really get a lot of enjoyment out of it, if that makes any sense. But
I mean, when he kills the couple at the lake, that was like, I still remember
with the knife.
Yeah,
that was brutal. Yeah,
I still remember it. Like I don't like that. That made me feel bad. Like
yeah. Well, I mean, I would hope it would make you feel bad and doesn't make you feel good.
No, I mean, yeah, I know.
No, it was a particularly horrific.
It was probably more
scene.
detailed.
Yeah, of all the stabbings I've seen in movies, that one I remember.
Yeah,
like I was trying to figure out, like, man, how did they film that one? Because there was one point where he turns the girl around after stabbing her in the back and then stabs her like in the abdominal area. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I wonder how they shot that because it looks so real.
Well, they use those
like so real
that,
because you could see the knife kind of like go through her.
It doesn't though. It's one of those retractable things.
Like, goodness.
Yes, D. Easter, you're talking about the fight like in the shower or in the bath area with Viggo Mortensen in his birthday suit.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
the craziest thing I'd ever seen at that point.
And
it was already crazy because we had seen scenes where the guy goes to the barbershop and they slash his throat, and it was so already stuff going on in the film. But when I saw it, I was like, whoa. That was never.
I just remember feeling very cringy about just the fact that he even filmed that and just wondering if he was in danger of hurting himself. It's just like, oh.
Yeah, both those.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, Eastern Promises was.
I saw it once and I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
You remember this?
Just hope he didn't break his toe in another helmet.
I don't remember that. What was it?
Yeah,
no, I hope he didn't break his toe on another helmet.
Oh, he did. I don't know if it was like a mafioso, like it was something, but he looked at someone and he hit his thumb a certain way, and then he did 2 fingers under his throat, towards somebody.
I get it. Simon was saying he was gonna kick something in the wee, because of the helmet.
Oh.
Because Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay.
That one
Sorry.
That was pretty good.
Slow. No, I forgot about that part, D. There's only a few things that I remember about Eastern Promises. One was that fight scene.
Yeah.
I remember Naomi Watts being in there, and her, was it her father? I think it was her father. He was just a really terrible person. I think it was her father. And I remember, wasn't he like a Russian? Oh, and wasn't Mikhail Baryshnikov in it?
I believe so.
Yeah, I didn't realize.
Yeah, I think it was in.
Yeah, because I hadn't seen him since that movie he was in with Gregory Hines way back in the 80s.
Oh, and
I
see, and I feel like I grew up like seeing images of him, but ironically enough, and it was really in passing, and I kind of found out about it kind of accidentally, but I didn't realize he was on Sex and the City.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yeah, he was one of Carrie's love interests. It was like towards the like very.
I never saw that show.
Yeah,
but
some kind of
I
retrospective something on TV, and they're like, oh, and it was like the different relationships, the different dynamics. It was kind of like a retrospective of the impact of the show, and so they mentioned, and I think that's when they used to have it on TBS, censored, of course. But I remember catching some kind of special they had, and so he was one of the men. And I was like, oh, I actually didn't know that.
Okay, yeah, I mean, he was primarily a ballet dancer.
Yeah,
and then he was in that movie in the 80s, and that was when I first noticed him. And then I saw him in Eastern Promises, and I guess I just forgotten he was even in acting, and it bugged the heck out of me. Who is this guy? Who is this guy? And then it clicked, and so I remember him being in that. That was interesting. But yeah, Arturo, you would probably like that. Okay, Simon. Simon.
Another one was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle animated movie.
Yeah,
we
and
did see that one.
I don't remember a lot about that one.
I just remember we went to see it.
I think I saw it and liked it. The CG one.
Yeah.
I think so. I think I did see it and liked it because I grew up liking the Turtles.
Yes.
And not that I like it really cared or watched it again or remember, but just I think I watched it like fine as Turtles and then being like, oh, it was kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
At least it was one of those. I think it was that one. I guess that's not a really good analysis there.
Oh, that is. I took you guys to see that. I think Arturo.
Yes, we did. I just said we went to go.
Yeah, I know. I was just sitting there trying. Wasn't one of the opening scenes where one of them was standing on like a wing of a plane or something?
It was like it's like the one. What was his name?
Time.
The Two Swords. He was in a jungle somewhere. I'm gonna assume like somewhere in South America or something. And
is that the one where Michelangelo is like almost like surfing through the sewers and the camera's like following him?
Oh man, I'm not sure. It's been so long. I remember he got captured.
Yeah, I saw it once.
I like that. I just got a Ninja Turtles game on Switch that was over the summer. That was really cool. It was real nostalgic, like the old arcade games.
Hey Tim, sorry, this is my brother. They're making a bunch of kids and watching Hocus Pocus 2. Oh, you poor thing. But the ants turned up to 11. Okay. All right, Tim.
Hot Fuzz came out.
Yeah, we saw that.
We saw that recently.
The sequel to Shaun of the Dead, kind of. I mean, not a sequel, but
not a sequel.
That
but
was one of the first things we watched for 2007, like right after the 2006 podcast, and then we watched that.
What? Arturelia's pick looks quite
because of your tie. You look like it.
Yeah.
This was okay. It was about this time of your life, and maybe also when you were a little younger, that you looked a lot like a young Harry Potter, especially when you wore glasses.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Cool. People would call me Harry Potter sometimes. People would either call me Harry Potter or Frodo, which
that's
I felt like honored and not. I was like, cool. I don't know. Yeah.
That's right. Timothy Dalton is in that, Tim.
Yeah. That movie was crazy.
It was crazy. I think I like Shaun of the Dead better. Best out of all three of those movies. So
I prefer Shaun of the Dead too, but I think Hot Fuzz is the better movie.
Really? Why?
I just think it's better constructed.
Better constructed. Yeah.
There's more to it.
Yeah, it was fun. It certainly wasn't like, but if I was to return to any one of those three, it would probably be Shaun.
Mm-hmm.
Shaun of the Dead.
And then there was, of course, 28 Weeks Later. We've already mentioned.
Oh, did we mention it already?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just looking through the list.
I had written down some that you watched, Arturo, which we haven't talked about yet. American Gangster.
With
Denzel.
That was another one that I watched. That one was also good.
solid movie.
And Denzel Washington,
Mhm.
just
Of
as good as
course,
ever.
playing a baddie.
Well, okay, that
again.
was the second, but he was just as good as ever.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, there's really not much he's
Well, I
not good
mean,
in.
in the end, if you know the story, I mean, he got out of prison and I guess
So
changed
I
his
was
life.
reading up about the true life character
Yeah.
that he played.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so people that were really involved in the case, obviously, you know, they took great liberties with the truth, and they presented him as kind of a more honorable type of character. And I think one of the judges or law enforcement people was like, Denzel Washington was everything this guy was not in real life, you know, like, because
Right.
Denzel, you know, he brought this class to the character, even though he was terrible. He was a bad guy, but he kind of seemed like he was portrayed as being sort of like this noble type of person, and
Mhm.
in reality he wasn't. And also when he got out, I think he got out in 91.
Yeah.
But what they didn't show in the movie was that he had been released before, and then he got in trouble again with like drug stuff or whatever, and so then they put him back in.
Wow.
But yeah, so it's quite a bit of, you know, they left that part out
Yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah.
Because obviously, you know, they can't show everything. I get that they have to sort of, you know, mess with time and everything, but I just found that interesting that it wasn't quite as accurate.
I'd say that's probably the truth for like a lot of past heroes, where there's, when you go the further back you go, when there's less firsthand evidence that they were actually not so
Yeah.
great,
Yeah.
like mythologized and made legendary.
I think out of like,
I just remember him. I remember before I watched this movie all the way through, I remember him going up and shooting somebody in the street. I had completely forgotten that it was Idris Elba that he shot.
Yeah.
I didn't, because I didn't notice. I didn't like know Idris Elba at the time. I guess I hadn't paid attention to him yet, because he just, you know, he didn't make an impression on me until Ghost Rider.
Also, was this the movie where I was like talking about how the way Denzel Washington talks is just, it's sometimes kind of funny?
I don't know. Would it have been that, or
like, I don't know, the
Training
way,
Day?
like when he either gets irritated or when he's like doing his, like, you know, his groove when it comes to his acting.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe. But Timothy points out something I completely forgotten, that Denzel and Russell were in Virtuosity together.
Yeah.
Movie from a long, long time ago.
Or something.
No, he didn't, Chris.
I think when it comes to when it comes to the two historical films, I think Zodiac's more accurate.
From what I understand, yes, it was.
Like if you want a
we're reading
really
up on
good,
that.
accurate, like historical movie, that Zodiac.
Okay, so Simon says he's not seen Trick or Treat. Have you seen it yet, Simon?
No.
No. Okay.
At least I don't think I've seen it.
So Arturo watched that for the first time a few days ago, and it's coming back to the big screen, I think on October 31st. But I won't be able to go see it that day. But it was. Have either of you guys seen it? Colin, D?
It's different.
Yeah, it's actually pretty well. It's a pretty well constructed horror, sort of anthology-ish type of story. I only say anthology because they have a bunch of different stories woven together into this.
Well, I mean, it's
story.
taking place the same night, and it just shows
Right.
these characters doing stuff and a lot of crazy stuff.
Like on Halloween.
Yeah.
Yes, and the way they tell the story, they don't give you the full picture until towards the end, because you think something's going on, and it's the complete opposite of what you think is really happening. It was pretty well done, and I think, didn't you pull up an article about that, Arturo, that it didn't get released? It ended up never making it to movie
apparently
theaters?
Derek was saying that, and I'm like, whoa, really? It never came out? Really? And now they're finally doing it after 15 years later.
I wonder if it's on like Netflix or Hulu or HBO or anything. Prime.
Let me look on Letterboxd and see.
Letterboxd. Is Letterboxd this thing that'll just tell you what movies or where there's...
A lot of times it will tell you where you can find it.
Okay.
Now I remember this because of Corey watching it. Hot Rod.
I like Hot Rod a lot. I saw that when I was looking through. I was like, oh man, Hot Rod. That it's like I can't really pick a top 5. I can't pick a 5th movie, and it might be Hot Rod because it's really dumb, but it's kind of dumb funny. I like that. Sin would never.
No, I don't think she even cared for it much.
I don't know. I like what's his name, Andy Samberg. I felt like it took me a while. Like Brooklyn Nine-Nine really made me a fan, but that movie I think he's really funny in, and it's just really dumb humor that. Yeah.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. I just wanted to touch on what Dee was saying. Yes, I love that scene too, because she put her foot down with him, and I was thinking to myself, "Oh, please don't tell me he's going to hurt her," because he was pretty brutal with good people.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and then she put him in because I kind of grew up. Ruby Dee, for me, she was she's an actress from like old school Hollywood, and so she was someone I grew up watching, particularly in Spike Lee's "Do the Right Thing." I think that was the earliest I remember watching her, and then of course, revisiting her other films as I got older. So kind of seeing her in that, and I think they nominated her for that too. I think she was the oldest nominee for supporting.
Oh,
yeah, but yeah, it was really cool. That was a great one.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, we were talking about Hot Rod.
Yes.
I thought it's like the kind of dumb humor that I really like, and I need to like all these movies. I keep saying I need to watch it again because it's so many of them I watched like once, and now that's been 15 or maybe a little less years. I saw them like maybe not in the theaters, but Hot Rod. Yeah, I remember it had a lot of funny dumb scenes, but I always like the best is he's going for the jump at the end, and it's like he thinks he's gonna make it, and it like zooms out and. He's not gonna make it. Something like that. It is in his face. Just it's a good one. It might be number 5 for me. I can't pick my. Favorite.
Oh, okay. Makes your top list then.
Another comedy action was Rush Hour 3.
Oh yeah, Rush Hour 3. Gosh,
another
trilogy. That's
another
right.
Prequel.
Another. That's right.
Man,
it was
so many
fun. I think I enjoyed the first and second one more.
Yeah,
I think I remember you didn't like it as much.
Yeah.
I don't remember it as I think that's one I saw again, and I don't even remember. I feel like it must be good, right? It's Jackie Chan and Chris Tuck. Like the first 2 were so good, but I don't remember anything distinct about it.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Then there's the movie The Invasion.
Oh, it's the one with Nicole Kidman, right? And Daniel Craig.
And Daniel Craig.
That was like a sort of a retelling of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, I think. Yeah, I like that one. I thought it was pretty good.
And then you have a remake, Halloween.
Oh yeah, we saw Rob Zombie's Halloween.
And I gotta say, prefer the original.
Yeah. I mean, there's parts of it that I enjoy.
Yeah.
I think of all the Michael Myers, he's the most intimidating. Just because he's so huge.
Yeah.
And the mask, I like the mask. But right, exactly. But parts of it, like them doing the whole backstory of Michael Myers, and it kind of takes away the scary factor of him. When they do all of that, plus the girl who played Jamie, I think it's Jamie. Oh, she annoyed the absolute hell out of me in this movie. It just and the humor, like the dirty, crass humor, wasn't funny. It was stupid, and she was annoying. It was cool they brought Danielle, what's her name, back, and she was in another Halloween movie.
She played the daughter of
the daughter of the sheriff. She played the daughter of the sheriff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not the worst.
It's okay.
But it's certainly not up there with the top. Halloween. Okay.
Yeah,
and get it right.
And Halloween 2 goes even further because we get into acid trips and
yes.
And kind of fever dreams with his mom, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that sort of in passing, and I was like, yeah, I see why people didn't think this was very good. I disagree, Tim. I don't think it's the best one in 40 years. I think
No.
2018 is the best one in 40 years.
Yeah, maybe that's what he's.
And then
And
after
what-
that, H2O. What's that, D?
Oh no, you said it. I was what after that you said H2O. I figured it was.
Yeah, in my opinion, that's just, but it's the Halloween 2007 Halloween. It's not low in the list for me, I don't think, because I rated them, after Kills came out and people were fighting about Kills. Fans were fighting amongst themselves about Kills.
2018 still pretty ridiculous.
No. Nope.
I think he's doing that on purpose.
I think he is too.
He's doing that on purpose. You know he is. Then there's 3:10 to Yuma.
Yes.
I was gonna bring that up.
That one was good.
It's just a solid modern, like, I don't know, like modern, but it's a solid Western that you don't see,
Much of.
anymore these days. Like,
Oh.
And Ben Foster, man, I think we've talked about him before on this, but he was like transformed from. I think the last time I saw him was like the year before this. He played Angel in X-Men.
That's right. He
And then
was
he's like this badass cowboy with a beard, and I was like,
and he was wicked. Like he looked like somebody you did not want to mess with.
He felt like he belonged in the Old West, which I was.
Yeah,
he did a good job. Him and Russell Crowe both, and Christian Bale, and just like some good shooting and.
It's a good like modern Western.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was well. And then what was that guy's name? The funny guy. He always has that face that's just funny.
Oh, Alan Tudyk.
Tudyk.
Oh man, he like even in this movie, even though it was serious, he had that face. He had that face, and it's like I was like, oh my god.
He's got one of those faces you just want to laugh when you see him because he looks.
I forgot he's
funny. He was the doc.
The doctor.
Yeah. Oh man.
A scene that I never. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Arturo.
Oh no, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say a scene that I never forgot in that movie, besides the very final, was when Russell Crowe in the middle of the night was stabbing that guy with a fork.
Yes.
That was brutal.
That actor is kind of memorable to me. Like, I don't know his name, but he always stuck out. He had those like blue eyes, like his eyes.
Who was he now?
And I've seen him in other shows. He was in Lost and a few other movies. And
I know exactly. Yeah.
Tough guy. And yeah, and that scene too, because it felt like he was kind of building to be this tough character that was going to be in it, and then all of a sudden he was just like murdering him. And it's
yeah. And you kind of knew it was coming too, because what he was Alan was the voice of Rooster in Moana. Yeah, that's right.
Nice.
That's right. Yep. I do remember you telling me about that.
I think I remember.
Even bad men love their mamas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then there was another Western, the Assassination of Jesse James.
Yep.
By the coward
Robert Ford.
Yeah.
That movie was really I don't know I can't think of it, but slow and like tone and arty or something, like I don't know the right word where combine those three words.
Was it good? I've never seen it just because I wasn't particularly interested.
I think it was above average. I think it was better than your average movie, but I think it felt too slow. To me, it felt like pretentious almost. Maybe it's that title,
really?
But also like the way the movie was done was just like, I think it's the title's making me think. That movie, it was just really slow, and it felt like it took itself too seriously, and it was trying to be like deep, and it wasn't. It just, I don't know, wasn't that good to me. It was like better than your average movie, but it felt like it was trying to be like the best movie you saw that year. If that, yeah, great cinematography. Yeah.
That reminds me of The Green Knight.
Cinematography.
Pretentious, great cinematography. Right? But
it might just be thinking that though, but that's
that started
what's that, D?
I said, Sin, that's what started this whole journey, right?
That's right. The Green Knight. Well, I guess we have, there's something good about it.
Yeah, that's the main thing. I promise. I watched it and I was like, okay. And it's hard. And I don't know if it just came up on my Explore tab or because I was already searching or if it came up when I searched. But yeah, and it was just like, I just saw, and I have to go back and see what your actual title was. But yeah, I clicked and I was like, this woman knows what she's talking about. She's reading my mind.
Yes. Finally, somebody who understands me. And you feel like, what are you missing? Because it's so great, and then you're like, no, this is awful. It's terrible.
Yeah. There was the horror movie I remember getting all the buzz this year was Paranormal Activity.
Oh my god.
Oh, was this the first one?
Yeah.
This year? Wow.
And I remember it got a lot of buzz. Like this was the new horror movie. And yeah. Yes, I am I'm not slow though. but
Can't you just take yourself too seriously?
Yeah. I do it faster though.
You're so fun, Colin.
Yeah.
Oh, Colin, he's picked on so much.
Cinematography isn't great though.
It is great. It was great. That's what I don't know what I'm saying. I feel like someone could say that about like a Terrence Malick movie where I'm like, no, you just don't get it. It's like you got to think about it. Like I always hate. Sometimes I feel like I should criticize one viewing where I don't really know. But I wanted to say something about Paranormal Activity. Is what I remember was like in movie culture that was different was seeing the previews for movie trailers on TV for that, and they would show the audience reaction, like people in the audience being like and stuff. And in my memory, that's the first time I ever saw that in a movie trailer, like on TV or anywhere, like them showing live reactions, not live, but actual recorded reactions of audiences in theaters reacting to the movie that they're showing you the trailer of, to be like, see, they think these people think it's scary. And I was like, they can do that now with trailers, like to show you the audience. Like it's a weird tidbit because I've seen it done, I don't know, more times since then, so it's not like weird or anything now, but that was the first time I saw him do that, and it felt weird to me. Kind of like the first time I saw him include a Rotten Tomatoes score on a TV, where I'm like, don't bring the internet into my TV. Like we're not like, it felt like, oh man, the times are changing. I don't know. But anyways, Paranormal Activity, I thought, I don't know, what did you guys think of it? I thought it was all right, but didn't live up to the hype. Anything? Any thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are I'm not a fan of the the film, the home video type of horror film in general. I don't like them at all. It's very rare that I do. And so that was kind of like one of, I never watched it all the way through. I just kind of like fast forwarded to see what the end was. And then it was like, okay. Because I can't take it seriously when they're pretending that it's real. Okay, so like movies, yeah, they're pretending it's real, but it's not. It's this story. But when they take it like as a home video and it's supposed to be real, but it's not real, I can't.
I'm the opposite. I get almost more into it.
Yeah, and I can see why people would, because it seems more real, right?
For me, it does, but not every, like Paranormal Activity still wasn't like that good to me. But by way segue though to what I thought was a really pretty interesting horror movie that came out the same year was REC Record from Maine, which I don't think got any attention in America at that time. It took a couple years, but like that's also a home movie style.
Yes, it is
horror movie. That to me, like that was the good version of it, because it wasn't like still and slow. It's fast and you're running from monsters, and so I really liked it. I don't know if I watched it today, if it would hold up the way I felt like. Horror movies are hard for me to get really into and really get scared and into all throughout, and that was one that did that for me. That was one where I was like, I liked it all the way through. So I really liked REC.
Did you see the sorry, go ahead, Simon.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. It's okay.
I was going to say the best horror movie of 2007 was The Mist.
Yes.
Oh, that one. You know,
You didn't
the
like it?
end pissed me off.
Of course it did.
It actually, I didn't watch that all the way through. I fast forwarded to find out how it was going to end.
Oh my god.
How often have you seen all
I
these?
didn't like it. Well, did you
And I
watch
would
it?
no,
I
I
watched the
was
start and the end of it.
no, I was glad I hadn't liked it because I would have been even more pissed at the ending if I'd invested all that time and then it ended like that. Are you serious? Come on.
Do you remember when you fast forwarded from?
I think it was after some things were happening in the supermarket. Like there was
That is the. I was
some
just.
tension that was happening in the supermarket.
Yeah.
And I think at that point I was just like, let me see how this is going to play out.
You like your apocalypses to have a happy ending?
Yes, I do. I don't like apocalypse stories, actually. I'm not
Yeah.
crazy about post-apocalyptic stories. Every once in a while there's some good ones, but in general they just have this overwhelming feeling of just depression, and it's very scary to think about because that could really happen, that type of situation in the world, and it's scary and depressing and just so ominous. I'm not
Right.
crazy about them. Even though I did like The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
But even that got old after a while.
Yeah.
I love the ominous real world tone.
Yeah, I mean, some people, it's their thing. It really is. I get it.
Did
But-
you see Don't Look Up, Sam?
No, I haven't seen that yet, but I've heard it was good.
Yeah. It has
Did you?
some tones of that, but it also has some kind of some very
Comedy?
interesting satire in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen clips of it.
That'd be
But,
an
no.
interesting one for you to watch. Given
yeah.
what you said.
But, oh well.
Then that was actually the third Resident Evil movie, Extinction. Speaking of apocalypse.
I liked it again. Mila Jovovich being all hot. And
That's right. You like her no matter what.
I watched it a few times, which I still think the second one I liked better. Definitely like second one better, and probably the first one, but still like the third one. I think that they're in the desert, and the one guy goes down smoking a cigarette, and the car blows up.
I don't remember much at all about that one, and I did see it, but I just don't remember much.
Yeah, but it also had, it's kind of bad too. It's like,
Yeah, it is. The first two were the best. I used to like the second one best, and then after rewatching them both, I'm like, the first one's the best one to me. Another horror movie was Vacancy. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I don't know about that one. What was that about?
Kate Beckinsale and her husband Luke, played by Luke Evans, and they stay at this hotel and some.
Oh yeah,
really
I
bad
was thinking I
things are
wanted to
going
watch
on.
that one.
I enjoyed that one. There was also Death Proof. Arturo saw Death Proof.
Oh yeah, Quentin Tarantino.
You saw Death Proof? That was
Mhm.
one of my favorites of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say the Grindhouse experience for me overall, because I saw it like at the theater, the double
Did you?
feature with the trailers in between. I had the entire experience. It was so
Me
fun.
Oh wow!
Me too, and I'm glad to hear that, dude. Because I don't know where you lived. Where I lived, I went like opening day, definitely opening weekend, and there's like 4 other people in the theater, and I was like, "Come on,
Dang.
we get a Tarantino double feature." Whereas, like, I thought it was the coolest thing. I don't know where everyone was in my town, but I loved it too. It was a unique, fun thing that they did. They were like, let's do something different and fun, and I loved that. Yeah, and the trail, all the crazy trailers they did, and I mean, we should talk about Planet Terror and Death Proof together, because I mean they were both good movies.
I remember when it came out and kind of like it was a big deal because they were doing it was together. Arturo never watched Planet Terror.
I think it's like cheesier. It's not as like a serious as I think Death Proof in a certain. There's more like serious in how he made the movie. Like maybe the plot's not that serious, but it looks like Planet Terror.
Well, what intrigued me was how the beginning felt like something from like early 80s or 70s, even though it's modern day. Then it goes to black and white, and then all of a sudden it goes right back to how films are usually shot today. And I'm like, what was the point on all that? And then the whole thing that happens with the characters at the beginning, I'm like, wait.
He didn't see that coming at all. That was brutal.
Oh, the car crash in that movie?
Yeah.
Greatest car crash in any movie ever in terms of it,
I think
all
so,
the
Chris.
time when I am driving and I'm thinking about what would it be if it like if had two-way traffic and if that dude just swerved and I think of the slow motion and the tire
Oh yeah,
like
going up a...
that was crazy. That like yeah, oh my god, that scene.
Yeah.
And the leg.
It hurt.
I'm thinking to
no.
myself, like, why would you have your leg out on the road? Like when someone's driving with the window down, you're like, and of course, well, that happened.
Yeah. Oh,
and then the whole thing at the end was kind of funny because it ended up like the tide turning.
It's like
Against
two
him.
movies. It's like he's the bad guy and then he's the hunted.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
So I thought it was funny too that the girl who played who was the one who got out on the hood of the car, that's Zoe Bell, that's her name, right?
Yes.
And so I thought it was funny that she and Kurt Russell played husband and wife in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because Zoe's, I remember reading about her because she's like this cool stunt woman.
She was a stunt woman and then she became an actor. It was really cool. Her whole story is really neat.
And she did all the stunts on that car. Like there was no harness. There was no like she was on that car doing all that.
Yeah, they did old school.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, and the way Kurt Russell is it Kurt Russell or
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell acted like when he got shot. He sounded like a wimp. I'm like, okay, so this is a killer, yet he's acting like a wimp now because he got shot.
He was screaming like a girl.
It's funny. I have a little personal story I want to share about that movie, which is it's not that great, but it's for me it was kind of cool. I was living in Austin in 2006, and I was working at a Subway, and someone was talking like I was giving a sandwich. It's like talking about doing security and for movies and shows. And I think I probably brought this up.
I think you told us, that you did. You were like night watch or something
in
the area where they had filmed.
I did tell you. Okay, yeah.
That's
so
cool,
they had a night watch where you just watch the set for 12. And I think because it was 12 hours, and I didn't have a book or a phone or anything. And I remember that 12 hours standing around, walking around. But it was the set, and it's at the very beginning of that movie. The camera is like going through a house to look out down a window to the car when they're like, come on, come up, ride with us.
It was that set? It wasn't like at the bar or anything like that?
It was outside. It was like just in a neighborhood. Like,
oh, okay.
But I felt so cool.
Like, I bet it did. It is kind of cool. It's cool.
That was fun. And then that whole scene the whole like in the movie where they're like going out to Austin and stuff, that was cool because it reminded me. I was like, that's where I was just got to experience a lot of that stuff. So that was fun for me to. It's like a little personal feel for that.
How much did they film in that area? The whole thing, or just portions of it?
I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure they filmed most of both those movies in Austin because like Rodriguez has this whole little, or he did at the time. I assume he still does. Has this whole little studio thing down there.
Oh, okay, right.
Effects and shoot all their live action and stuff.
Okay, Simon.
I know. I was more there like if someone
came, what would you do? What would you do?
Or run and call the cops. Like they didn't give me weapons. They were like it's more like chase teenagers off, I guess. It's discourage people from just walking up on this stuff they like. Yeah.
The fourth Saw movie came out this year.
Whoa, somebody, what's that, Colin?
Did
you say?
I said something.
I thought someone else said.
I was saying the fourth Saw movie came out this year.
Oh, Saw 4. I didn't watch it past.
D maybe froze. I think D froze. D.
No.
No.
Are you frozen, D?
Who's me?
No. Okay.
His face is frozen. No, he's moving. You're every once in a while you kind of jitter or stutter a bit. Your image does.
Okay.
Sorry, Arturelia.
I thought this was 2008, but Enchanted came out this year.
Oh wow.
I thought it was 08
Did
for
it?
some reason.
Wow, it's that long ago.
That was the first time I
Jeez.
noticed that actress.
Yeah, same.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. I haven't seen the trailer for the next one.
There's another one?
Yes, it's called Disenchanted.
No.
I think it's
Oh,
called
Disenchanted? Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Then there's Hitman, the video game movie.
Oh
that
yeah,
came-
with Timothy Olyphant. That's the only reason I watched it was because Timothy Olyphant. Plus, the premise looked interesting, but I don't think the movie was all that good.
Well, I guess the games would be better.
Disenchanted is released next month on Disney Plus.
Next month, yeah. Have you seen the trailer for it? Doesn't seem like it'd be your kind of movie, though, Simon.
No.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the first one either.
The first one was fun.
I remember that, yeah. What else?
The Cleaner. We saw The Cleaner.
Oh yeah,
with,
the cleaner
Samuel
with
L. Jackson.
yeah.
It was okay. It was an interesting premise. He was a guy that cleans up crime scenes.
I don't even remember
And-
that.
Yeah, it was kind of like one of those things that just sort of came and went and didn't create like a big, stir or anything. But it's all right. We kind of predicted,
Like who it was.
yeah, who it was, and we were right. So
2007 was actually a defining year for comedy.
okay.
You got
Super bad.
Superbad, you've got Knocked Up, and you've got Blades of Glory.
Blades of Glory.
Mm-hmm.
How is that? All right, that's part of the joke? I don't know. Because I do remember Apatow and Superbad and Knocked Up getting a ton of attention. But
Aliens
Blades
versus
Well, what was so defining about that? Because there was other comedy.
I don't know if it was defining it to it maybe just signaled kind of a new shift in tone of, I don't know, because the Apatow stuff was more like I don't know. I guess I don't know. Just
Well, the Apatow stuff, that sort of was the defining bit, but then you got Blades of Glory, which was a good movie. I enjoyed it, and it continued the Will Ferrell kind of comedic tick.
I thought it was funny. I just don't remember it being like on the level of those other two movies.
Well, the other two, yeah. Sorry, those were the ones I meant. Were the defining ones.
Yeah. Since then, Apatow's been like a household, I don't know, big name. But that was the year he like really became so. And I like both those movies a lot. Well, Knocked Up, maybe I saw like once. Superbad, I saw a few times. I like that. I mean, it is kind of like, it's weird. It's the older I get, the weirder I feel about like high school era stuff, where it's like for so long you're like, yeah, those were the days, so cool and fun. And now I'm like, oh man, I'm like twice that. That was half my life ago. I don't know what high school's like anymore with these kids. Like
with these terrible kids.
Yeah.
Have you seen Smiley Face, Colin?
Oh, man.
I mean,
I don't know why I haven't. Well, Smiley Face.
Surprised you haven't.
No, I don't always go for all the pot themes and stuff though, because some people always like just to have a pot theme is not enough. I guess I always love when pot's included though. If that,
Said Kurt Russell giving the young lady a bride in Death Proof took me out. Yeah, yeah. Oh, interesting. That was an interesting way that he killed her, though.
Oh yeah.
Because you think when he picks her up, he's going to take her and like do some horrendous thing to her, like kill her with his hands. But it was all about the car. I mean, his car was his killing machine.
Yeah.
And that was, I remember it was a very unnerving scene. The way he was smashing her around, like the way she was getting smashed around inside.
Oh yeah.
So that was interesting.
Like you could use pretty much a car as a weapon.
Well, that's exactly what he did.
Because it was like a stunt car, and
I didn't realize she was in Talladega Nights.
Oh yeah.
The first scene I saw.
There was Aliens versus Predator Requiem that came out.
When they went to Antarctica, or is that the different one? Or is that the one where it's like a neighborhood in Colorado?
Oh,
The first one was Antarctica or Alaska, one of those two. But the second one, yeah, is when they went to that town, and it was like the film was literally dark, and you could hardly see anything.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever saw that one.
There was also, I feel like,
What's
Sin, you
Simon?
might have seen this, The Orphanage.
Yes,
I have
love
not
it.
seen
Oh, that was
that
good.
yet. Sorry,
It's
go
Guillermo
ahead,
del
son.
Toro, wasn't it?
I thought it's Spanish.
Wait,
Yeah.
The Orphanage was Del Toro as well?
I thought it was. Let me.
I thought it was too, but then I also get that mixed up with The Devil's Backbone.
Yeah, it's J.A. Bayona.
Okay, so it's not Del Toro.
No.
Yeah. And see, I made that same mistake. I actually put that. I think I did some kind of 3 Hidden Gems film and video, and I mentioned the Orphanage, and because of the way they did the DVD art, it says from Guillermo del Toro, but they're saying he's a producer, like he produced.
Oh yeah.
This
Oh, so he did have his hands in it.
from Guillermo del Toro, who also made Pan's Labyrinth. So initially, I thought it was his film too, but it's a different.
Okay, okay, that's probably why I thought that as well. Also, because it's Spanish language, right? I believe it is. Yeah, I've never seen that, but I've heard it's good.
I like Pan Labyrinth.
I love it.
The Orphanage.
Yes.
Okay, I need to watch it.
It was a really pleasant surprise, and it's kind of one of those films because, like, I've always been big into horror films when I was younger, and so for me, it kind of, I think horror really is effective for me when, of course, there are aspects that are scary, but when there's kind of like this deeper story and kind of this deeper narrative that's going on, and kind of a deeper mystery, so to speak. And it really just kind of went some places that I wasn't expecting, and it was kind of like a horror story, at least for me, come to life. So I really
What's the premise?
The premise is that there's a young girl who grows up in an orphanage, and then eventually, she is, adopted by a family. But then she returns to that property as an adult because she's wanting to purchase the property to create a school for special needs children. And she has a son, she has a husband, everything you would think would be fine. But then she notices that there's something very wrong with the house, and some really bad things begin to happen. And she sees this figure with this really creepy mask, very small and kind of hunched over. And as bad things happen, something really bad happens after she sees it. And so now, in order to deal with the aftermath of that, she has to kind of confront all the secrets that have been hiding in this orphanage, even when she was young. And she has to now discover the things that have gone on in the past of this orphanage and how that is, now going to affect how she goes forward. So it's really cool.
Is it a period piece as well? Because I thought it was.
No, they flash back to her time when she was an orphan, but it's present day.
Okay, see, that's why I was confusing it with The Devil's Backbone.
Okay, yeah, because Devil's Backbone.
Yeah, because I know that's a period piece, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I need to watch it. As much as I like horror, I don't know why. I think it's because it's the same reason I told you before, because when I watch it, I'm trying to watch it with the purpose of understanding what they're saying. And then I can't understand everything. And then I get impatient and I don't want to turn on subtitles. I'll watch it with Spanish subtitles. That's what I'll do. I can understand it more if I do that.
Right.
I got to see Smiley Face. I don't know how I missed that one, but I like Anna Faris and John Krasinski. I just looked it up. And
never heard of it either.
A fun movie.
I don't think I had. Simon
never
said
heard
he
of it
hadn't
either.
heard of it. Yeah.
The series of adventures after she eats a pot brownie. So I think they got. I remember when those started coming out, and I started seeing this blatant rip-off movies.
Yeah.
Where, it'd be like
Transmorphers.
Different in the. Yeah. And it's just like, wow, who works on these movies where it's like, what is it like to work on these movies? Like it's a third week shooting Transmorphers.
Transmorphers, I know, right?
Like I don't tell anyone what I'm doing. Yeah.
Do any of you guys have any others you want to talk about?
Because I think I already have like a top 3.
Stardust.
was one.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
we talked about
that one
Stardust
was
earlier,
really good.
Arturo, didn't we?
Yeah,
That's
that one
right.
was fun.
That
That one
was a fun movie.
fun and also funny.
I never
Yes.
saw that.
It's a Neil Gaiman, right? Or Gaiman?
Oh,
Yeah.
American.
And
Same
one of the funniest one of the scenes in there I never forgot was when what's that actor's name?
The guy from Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
Benedict,
Robert De Niro?
When he
Mark
no,
Freeman, Benedict Cumberbatch,
no, shoot.
Robert Downey Jr., Jude Law.
No, it was from
Henry
the
Cavill.
no, it was the Sherlock with Robert Downey Jr. and he played the bad guy in there.
Mark Strong.
Yes, him. When his character, something had happened to his character, and that yet he was doing all these sword motion fighting things.
Yeah, that was a funny scene.
The physical comedy.
Now I wonder how they like.
That tickled me.
You kind of curious how they filmed that whole thing.
Well, I would expect they probably did actually have some stuff on him pulling him.
Because
that
the
way,
way
because
he
the
was
way
moving,
he was
like
moving.
you can't do that. Yeah, that was
that was fun. That was a fun, and that was actually I didn't realize it at the time, but the dude who played in there, the main character, the main love interest was Daredevil.
Yep.
And I didn't know
Oh,
who he
really?
was.
Daredevil,
Yeah.
Superman, and Magneto.
I forgot
On one
Henry
movie.
Cavill was in there.
Hmm.
Henry Cavill played like the past. Did he play like a
He
younger?
played Humphrey.
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot he was in
There
that.
was,
Oh
I
my
know there was like a
gosh.
lot of
Love
actors
Rival.
in there.
Yeah,
There was a
and
lot of
I
actors.
totally. I remember that the love rival was a very pretty boy, but I
Mhm.
completely forgot it was Cavill.
He had
It's
blonde
like,
hair in it.
oh, that's probably why I totally didn't remember him. I also didn't remember he was in the Count of Monte Cristo or whatever. So who did
Were you
Michael
about to say
Fassbender
Crystal?
say? What?
Michael
The Count of
Fassbender?
Monte Cristo?
I think you're about to say Crystal.
I know. So I was like, it's not. It's Christo. Yeah, I completely forgot. He was a baby in that. I forgot that Michael Fassbender was in Stardust.
Oh no, he Ian McKellen was the narrator.
Ian McKellen.
Not Magneto.
Oh, okay. I was thinking that's right. I remember he was in there.
There
It's
was
been a while.
the girl that played Catwoman in
Michelle
the
Pfeiffer?
92. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Robert De Niro, right? Wasn't he
Yeah,
in
Robert
there
De
as well?
Niro, and even the girl from the third Terminator movie.
Yes. Yeah.
Claire
That's a fun
Danes.
film.
The cross-dressing
Claire
pirate.
The what?
The cross-dressing pirate.
That was that's right. That's right. He was.
Yeah.
It's been a
Oh,
good
it even
Gervais
time.
had
as well.
Ricky Gervais.
Oh wow, I forgot he was in that
Yeah,
too.
he was in there.
There's a lot of people in this
Love
movie.
it.
Yeah.
I know. We need to rewatch that.
Yes.
Mhm.
That would be fun.
There might be even more that we may be forgetting. But
Post.
yeah, I remember we went to go see that on the big screen. That was fun.
Yep, that's right. And then when we went to the beach house and they had a movie theater in the beach house, we saw it on the screen
Mhm.
there too. That was
I don't
fun.
think I watched it a second time.
I don't know if we talked about this one another time, but Black Snake Moan was the one that was a really big surprise for me.
We brought it up at the last one at the very end.
Was it this year? I thought it was last year's movie. It was
No,
2007?
we talked about it as a 2007, an upcoming 2007 movie.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I probably mentioned it last time. Just when people saw like the teaser or the teaser trailer, they were just like, and they saw him like her on this chain and him like get up.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, this is gonna like incense some people.
Right. What's going on here?
This feels like this is trying to make people upset or something, like
right.
I was surprised. Like I was like, wow. For that to be in the trailer, Yeah.
Wait a minute, isn't that the one where the girl does she have blonde hair and she tries to run out of the door and she gets pulled back or something?
Yep.
I think I remember seeing trailers for that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I actually did watch it a few years ago, and I thought it was decent. Yeah. I mean, I certainly saw more of Christina Ricci than I expected to see.
A lot of
but But it was a different role for her than I was used to seeing her
Wait,
as.
what is she? What was the actress?
She played
Christina
in
Ricci.
Sleepy Hollow with
Yeah.
Johnny Depp,
And Casper.
Oh, her.
and she
And
played in
Addams Family.
Casper. Yeah, Adam's Family. That's right. It was good. I mean, I think it's, if you don't mind seeing a lot of skin and a lot of sexual references and stuff, I thought it was decent. And
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
I'm
the
gonna have to watch
surprise
this.
to me is that it is the heart that it had and kind of the message
Mhm.
there, that it
Yes.
really was. It wasn't, because you were thinking we're about to see some kind of grindhouse, weird exploitation type situation.
yeah, and that wasn't the case at all.
Yeah, and then they both really are dealing with their demons, so to speak, and having to kind of confront the things that have kind of disrupted their lives, and that's where, and that's that I was kind of shocked that it kind of took that direction, and even just kind of how the story progresses, and you even with, besides the sexual part, even understanding the root of some of that stuff and how these characters are wanting to kind of, and even the kind of, I think there's a point where because he actually, Samuel L. Jackson sung the Black Snake Moan, but it's almost like it was a reference to basically like just like this shadowy thing that keeps kind of clawing at them when they're just trying to be at peace, and this thing keeps howling, still keeps pulling them back. So yeah, and I thought the performance was really great. I think that was Justin Timberlake's first role.
Oh, was that his first role?
And he was actually pretty good in that as well. So yeah, I just thought everyone was really pretty solid. It was just a really unique story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It definitely was unique. That's for sure. Justin Timberlake, did he play in Alpha Dogs?
I believe so. Yeah.
Was that before or after this?
Was that this year?
Because
I don't think we've talked about it, so I feel like after maybe.
Oh, it was 2006.
Yeah.
So
I don't remember talking about it.
Oh, 2006. It was 2006. Okay.
I think Tim might have said something about it, either if he popped in physically to talk or said something on the chat. But I think he liked Alpha Dog. I've never seen it. Yeah, me either.
So this is weird. So it came out at Sundance. It was released in Sundance the year before, in January 2006, but then it was officially released January 2007.
Alpha Dog or Black Snake Moan?
No, Alpha Dog.
Alpha Dog. Okay.
That's why it's like
wow, a whole year.
But it actually, it's interesting.
Huh. I've never heard. I don't think I've heard of Martian Child, Dulcimeris. If I did, I completely forgot, and I didn't see it. Have you guys heard of this movie?
I don't remember it.
Used to that.
Nope.
No, me either.
What
Should have been. What?
His hair.
I'm sorry, D. You were saying something?
No, you're fine. Perfume, the story of a murderer.
Oh yeah.
Never saw that.
Haven't. I've heard of it, and it's played multiple times on Pluto TV, on my Pluto TV app, but I haven't seen it all the way through.
Yeah.
I think I felt like it would be an undertaking to watch it, and that I wasn't always going to be in the mood to see something like that. But what did you think of it?
I actually thought it was great, and and the concept. And I remember it was based on a book which I haven't read, but it's although obviously the title says it's the story of a murderer. It's kind of an unlikely murder type situation, and how that happens and how it explores scent and then visuals and like really the whole design of the story. What happens whenever this person goes to a place and bad things happen when he leaves, and just how he is on this hunt to recapture this scent that has been lost because of this really disturbing experience he's had. It's extremely dark and creepy. And there is a scene at the end of the film that I don't think I've ever seen in another film before. I'll just say that it involves literally an entire, and mind you, these are actual extras, it's an entire like almost stadium full of people. And when let's just say once he has perfected something scent-wise, he does something that the crowd can smell it. And their reaction to that, I don't think I've ever seen something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is really happening. And it made me think for a minute after the fact. I was like, how did they film that? Because all these people had to be doing this thing at the same time over a certain amount of time, I'm sure.
Oh, you're being so vague now. I'm curious to find out what this is about.
Yeah.
I
really didn't spoil it because it was crazy.
Okay. What were you saying, Colin?
Oh, I said, yeah, I don't get it either. I don't know what it is. Yeah.
It's a period piece, right? I do believe I remember that much.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it takes place. I want to say it takes place in either Italy or France or something like that.
Yeah, I thought it was some European country, but I couldn't remember where. And is it in English or is it in another language? I don't remember that much.
I'm gonna put on a coffee real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right.
Coffee.
I don't think I've heard of this movie. If I did, it slipped my mind. Dr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Dustin Hoffman and Ellie. I never got a chance to see it, but I definitely was giving me like Willy Wonka as well, just from the poster and some of the trailer that I saw.
Just fast forward to maybe I will, right? Like I did with The Mist. That's funny. Were there any other films you guys specifically?
I can't really think of any.
Sunshine. Y'all seen that?
Oh,
is that
Danny Boyle sci-fi?
That is. Don't think I've seen it, but I have heard of it. Is that sort of like the end is coming sort of movie?
It is, yeah. Basically, there's a international team of astronauts, and they have to reignite the sun, which is dying.
The sun, yeah. Is that?
And then the third actor turns into a slasher.
Really?
Oh.
Okay, so that makes me interested.
Yeah.
I think part of the reason I stayed away from it was because I remembered that it was like this impending, like the Earth is going to be destroyed, sort of. In those movies, I don't really gravitate towards those very much. Which is why, like, I don't know why the hell I thought Moonfall would be any good.
I actually liked it up until the third act, and I thought it
really
felt like a different movie, really. But
that sounds like a different movie.
Yeah,
like
but
it
up
did.
Until then, it was one of the most sort of highly accurate, scientifically accurate space movies.
Really?
Brian Cox, if you know him.
He's great. He's
consultant
great
on it.
Oh, wait.
Not the actor, Brian Cox.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
That's
what I thought you were talking about. I was like, oh, okay, he was in that. No, you were saying he was a consultant. Isn't that the one with I never say his name right. His first name, last name Murphy.
Oh, Cillian.
Mm-hmm. See, I want to say Cillian, but then I heard people call him Killian, so now I don't know how the hell to say his name.
It's Killian.
It's Killian. Okay, see?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Killian. Well, see, I just still want to call him Cillian. I don't know. Just looks like a Cillian to me.
Cillian.
Okay.
Chris Evans is in it, and Michelle Yeoh as well.
Oh, okay.
And Benedict Wong, actually.
Oh, wow.
And Mark
All
Strong.
right. I'm going to put that in my Letterboxd list. Did I ask you this before, D, if you're on Letterboxd?
I am.
You are on Letterboxd. Yes, it's Colin I had asked, and I'll think also Simon. Have I ever asked you if you're on Letterboxd?
We're on each other's Letterboxd, I think.
You are on Letterboxd. That's right.
Yeah. What's your name on Letterboxd, D?
I think it's D Movie Man.
Yeah, it's just D. Yeah, all DMOVIEMAN. Mm-hmm.
Sunshine.
I need to actually put something on there because I feel like all I do is go in there and add stuff to my watch list.
Right, my watch list is huge. Just like it's got pretty decent. It's got a pretty decent ratings. Like 3.6 is decent on Letterboxd. Yeah. If that's what the audience score gives it. Okay, I put it in my to watch list. Oh yeah. Okay.
Have you seen what is it called? Have you ever seen Atonement, Sin?
No, I didn't. Isn't that the one with Keira Knightley?
Mm-hmm. And
What's the guy's name?
Scott McAvoy.
Yeah, him, McAvoy. I get him and Jamie Bell mixed up sometimes. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes I see the other person's face in my head when I'm thinking of the other name. I haven't seen that because it looked like it would be depressing, so I never watched it. And then I read how it ended, so then I was like, I'm glad I didn't.
Oh, well, see, you and I, see, you already.
I don't remember the details. I just remember that it ended in a way that I would have been like sad or annoyed that I watched it.
Yeah. And you would have, and not to say that you wouldn't have disliked the main character anyway, but you will absolutely loathe the main, like not the other two, but you will definitely loathe the main character were you to watch the film all the way through, not just because of what happened. Not just because of what happens to the main two because of her, but because what she also enables to happen to other people by being quiet. And yeah, it's crazy. It's really
Did you enjoy it though?
Oh yeah, I think it's the great. It took me by surprise. It was a curveball, and it was funny because my mom and I went into the theater. We just kind of, I think, probably got in there at probably a decent time before it started. We sat down. I think we were just kind of talking, waiting for it to begin. And I think at some point we weren't conscious of who was inside the theater. So then when the movie started, we just kind of, and I guess as the lights, went up, we looked. At some point we noticed that it was nothing but people with white hair. So just like a bunch of like elderly people. And then we're just kind of sitting here like kind of sticking out like two sore thumbs. But at the end of it, all you could hear was sniffling and
geez.
Everyone was devastated, and I definitely did not see it coming. And of course, the trailer gives you no indication. It gives you the sense that it'll be like a drama, and it'll be like intense, and there's going to be trials and tribulations, but it in no way prepares you for that kind of twist. Especially how it ties back to the main character. It was just like, whoa.
Is that a World War II piece, or is that further
yeah,
back?
I think it's either World War I or II.
Okay, I thought that was the one that takes place during a war or that time period. Yeah. So I just remember that there was something about it that made me think that I didn't want to get invested in the characters because something might happen to them. And then I read, and then I'm like, oh, well, I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I did. I don't remember what it was that happened, but I just remember that I looked it up. Sometimes I cheat. Yes, I cheat. I don't want to take the time to watch it and get emotionally involved with the characters, and then something happened. So, but I want to know how it ended. So then I look it up.
Yes. I will say this for certain films that I know not that I have the desire. I don't have the desire to watch them, but I want to know what happens. But there's no way I can subject myself to that type of film. And a good example is Cannibal Holocaust.
I saw that movie.
Sin, what's going on here?
Okay. So I think that at the time I saw it, I didn't realize what was really happening. And then I found out later. And so I don't want to see it again.
Like, isn't that the one where they killed the animals for real?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't handle that.
And it's very disturbing. So yeah, I don't want to see it, but yeah, I was like, wow, that's really graphic. How did they how did they do this? I know it was real. I was like, oh my gosh.
I passed out once, which I've actually done a few times. I think once you do it once, your body's like, oh, this is
how you do it.
And I think it happens when I'm in a social setting where I feel uncomfortable, but I feel like pressure to just stay put and stay quiet. So I don't like people drawing attention and stuff. I'm usually, and it was great. You know, I was like a teenager. It's like a little side story. Sorry, it's not even a happy.
It's
one.
okay.
But before I tell the side story, I saw a comment earlier. I didn't want to interrupt, and I've got the floor real quick. This is not this is my stuffed animal Simon that my mom made, because she made like 100 of these and sold them for a while. And so I requested her to make this one in my style. It's got the jewelry. It's awesome. I call it Spike from Cowboy Bebop.
Oh gosh.
This is like a professional stuffed animal. I'm sorry. But yeah, I was at this concert. I was like 17, and it was off, you know, in some basement in some house, and it was like friends at a high school band, and it was all like sludge metal, like da da. And you know, it's me and my friends were like, "This is so cool," and it wasn't really. I really liked the music, but this time they decided they'll do a visual element and play some visuals to go with the real dark music, you know. And at first, it's all this like happy stuff at a farm, and then it's these two farmers torturing a pig to death, and the pig squealing and kicking. And I was like, "What?" Like, and it was that season of like, "Be cool, dude. Everyone else is cool. Like, don't be a sissy." And so I was just kind of like watching, and then I was kind of like putting my head down, and I just got dizzy, like I fell down. And luckily, my friends were cool, and they got me up. They're like, "Come on, we'll get you outside." And I felt better, but like that shit sticks with me, where it's like I cannot handle that kind of pain, seeing that actual pain.
Yeah.
I don't like seeing it simulated, honestly. Like we're saying with the Zodiac and the stabbing scene, like that when it's too real, when it's simulated, it bothers me. And so that's my thoughts on that whole issue. I would never watch. I know you didn't mean to. You're like, I would, knowing what the Cannibal Holocaust is, I would.
Yeah, I mean, just the name of it, right? And so I was like, oh, okay, let's see. It's probably some dumb, cheesy, crazy, you know, horror.
It is a fun, awesome, cheesy movie. And you think Cannibal Holocaust isn't that?
The title
It's not a great
is
skill for a
ridiculous.
security guard.
What's that?
It's not a great skill for a security guard just passing out the first sign of danger.
I know. Yeah.
Poor
They
Colin.
didn't really do a good. They didn't ask for a resume or anything.
Oh, that's good. You didn't have to tell him you fainted before.
Yeah.
Well, see, I think the reason I watched it is because it reminded me of this movie called Green something.
Oh, the Green Inferno. That's the direct inspiration. Yes.
Oh, okay. That's why. And so I had seen Green Inferno.
Okay.
So then, and so I knew what happened in Green Inferno. So then I saw that and I was like, oh, let me check this out. So, okay. I didn't realize that was the deal going on there.
Yeah. So how was Cannibal Holocaust?
It was, I mean, I just remember the animals getting killed. I don't even remember how it ended.
Yeah.
Honestly,
to be honest, I really don't.
In my film studies class in college, we watched Nanook of the North, which is kind of famous as like one of the first documentaries where they filmed this like Eskimos, and it's like the 1920s. And there's a scene in that where they go and kill seals, I think. Ooh. And it's real. And I just left because I was like, I don't care. I'm not watching this. I object morally.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch seals be killed for my class, my studies. I will just. Yeah. I'll miss this question on the test. So. And it's because of stuff like that where I remember seeing those pigs die, and I'm like, next time, like from now on, if I see that stuff, I'm not gonna be like, well, everyone else is okay with it. I'm like, I'm out of here. Like, I do not like this stuff at all.
Yeah, and see, the thing for me is I have to. I mean, there are a couple of things, but really for me, it's just that I have a very like my brain. I have a very vivid imagination and very vivid memory. I can literally remember things from when I was 2, 3, 4, 5. Not every single thing, but I can literally almost like recall an entire, room or setting or place or people and things like that. And those things, yeah, and they can just kind of swirl around in my unconscious mind, my subconscious, and all that kind of stuff too, and just kind of pop up whenever. And the problem is watching certain things, that then means that kind of, but there's potential for that to become a part of that swirling
Yeah.
Oh,
that is that. And I just, and sometimes you can't do anything about it, but it's just, if I can avoid certain things being in there that I don't need
I'm the same way.
then
yeah.
I have to know when to kind of chill. The only thing I will say, reading it, because I think there's no visual piece there, but reading the synopsis, because someone did a reaction not that long ago, and even looking at their reaction to it, I was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
But I will say the thing that is interesting about the way they made it is, and it may seem superficial, but the idea of how those types of groups are perceived, you know, cannibals and savages and all of that. And the twist on the story is that the real savages and the real cannibals and the people who are perpetuating all these horrible things are not actually who you think. And they become, you know, who starts out as the victims in that situation, and then who becomes the victims in the end, who the documentary ends up being about. That piece of it, that commentary piece, even though that it wasn't being overt, but that message, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that's a really cool message. Like it's movies that would tell that story and just cut out the real graphic gore. It's like that's happening off screen. I get it. Like
he got into legal trouble, from what I can remember.
Yes,
yeah,
they thought like he actually killed the
people. Yeah, he was brought to court to trial on that or something.
I remember about that. Yeah,
and I think as far as the animals, I think I don't remember if he got into any significant trouble with the animals, but I think he had like clarified, well, they were sick or they were going to be slaughtered anyway. So they just did this, you know, because it was going to happen.
Yeah.
So they just incorporated it as part of their story, but it you know, it's disturbing.
Yeah, and he got in a lot of fights with some of the some of the actors and the folks on set got into fights with him. They were like, "No, we're not doing this, and we don't want to participate." And then he was screaming, yelling, you know. So it was.
It sounded like it was a story.
Yeah.
Sure. How did that come up?
Yeah, like why are we going back to the past now?
How did this come up? We were talking about how did that come? I don't
talking
even
about
know how
horror movies and it turned into Cannibal Holocaust.
We remember why that got.
It was something you said. I can't remember now.
Oh, geez. Okay. Wow.
Back to 07. I can't really think of anything else to talk about.
The only other one I can think of is Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
Oh, I never watched that because it's a musical and I wasn't interested.
Yeah. And see, at the time, my musical experience was kind of evolving. And both musicals this year kind of were new for me. You know, Hairspray, kind of the bubbly, over the top, you know, kind of a 60s vibe. That was new for me. I had never seen the original Broadway musical. Same with Sweeney Todd, and I was excited to see Sweeney Todd because the way they did this on purpose. But the way they did the first trailer, it doesn't look like a musical.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, there's just one part where he kind of is like, there's a song, I think it's called Epiphany, where he's kind of singing, but he's mainly talking. And so obviously a lot of people got hoodwinked when they went to go see the actual film. But I had found out because I was in the chorus class and everyone was like, oh my gosh, Sweeney Todd. And I was like, I don't know how this is going to work. I like, you know, at that point, you know, I was into Tim Burton stuff and Johnny Depp and, you know, just really deep into like those films and that style and aesthetic and all that. So I was worried though, I'm like, I don't know how this is going to work with all this music. And surprisingly, I actually ended up really enjoying it. And this is before I really got into my, you know, kind of more mature appreciation. You know, we all grow up with Disney and Sesame Street and Barney and that kind of stuff, but, and maybe, you know, Mary Poppins, those kind of musicals, but Sound of Music. But this and Hairspray and maybe a couple of others, that was kind of my new appreciation for it. And I think it's really, really well made. It's not a medium or a genre that works if you're not into that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, okay, cool. I like Sound of Music. That's my favorite musical, probably.
Oh, yeah, Sound of Music.
But just in general, it's kind of hard for me to take musicals seriously because in real life people don't break out into song like that. It's just I can't. But also it looked like it would, like you said, it looked like it was going to be one thing, and then it ends up being this other. And I was like, I thought it was going to be some sort of like thriller, sort of slashery type thing, and then when I found out there's it's a musical, I was like, I'll pass.
Right.
That's okay. But I
like when
remember
people. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, just as a counter, I like when people randomly break into song and dance because I'm like, it's great because it does never happen in real life, and so that's what the movies are for.
Yeah, I know that's true. I mean,
Again,
right, exactly. I
reality,
know
pretty
movies
much,
are about
yeah.
escaping reality, but it's
like-
weird, and it doesn't
It's
really
weird.
make consistent sense that would be a complaint of mine.
I love that in Bollywood though. That's something I love about Bollywood.
Oh, Bollywood, all
So,
those.
like, they're like every movie we're gonna have a huge song and dance in the middle of the movie, which is to me it's awesome. It's like it never has to make sense. We're just gonna do it, and everyone's gonna be happy. I love it.
I love how Bullet Train did it with the music.
No, but that wasn't a musical.
No,
A musical is when the actor actually, like, they're singing in the. But you're talking about just the
Just the
soundtrack that
sound.
they had. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not the same
Specific scenes.
thing.
Where is it?
But yeah, I was getting ready to say something and I forgot what it was. Oh well.
Well, I'm pretty much ready to do my top 3. I mean, it's
I
Were
got
there
a
any
top
other
four.
you guys wanted
There's
to
a
talk?
couple of important movies you've skipped.
Probably.
Persepolis.
What?
Persepolis.
Oh, the French
I didn't
animated
know.
movie. I never saw that.
I never saw that
Is
either.
it really good?
It is. It's well, I think it's an important movie, is what you would call it. I mean, it's well made and everything, but it's basically about a girl growing up during the Islamic Revolution.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's worth watching.
And it's animated.
Mhm.
Right. It takes.
Yeah, that's
place
right.
in It's a French
Simon, I
movie.
just saw this comment.
It's tragic.
of course.
Oh gosh, I expanded the screen so I could see everybody better, and then I miss comments sometimes when that happens. So Arturo, maybe you pay attention to comments. I like to look at the bigger
Well,
picture.
sometimes I'm hopping on different
I do that
tabs,
too. I
checking
always-
some stuff.
I missed most of the comments, but I did see the stuffed animal one, which I love.
Oh,
And another movie is The Diving Bell and the Butterfly.
Oh, I remember.
Oh
it.
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
I
Tell
heard
me
about
about that one again. I heard about it. Yeah, tell me about that one again.
It's about a guy who suffers a stroke and has locked-in syndrome.
Yes.
So the only thing he can move is, I think, his eye.
Mhm.
And
He writes.
many rank it as one of the best movies of the decade.
Does he write a book, or
Yeah, well, it's based on the book.
it's based on
did
that he wrote? I don't
based
know.
on a true
Well,
story.
no, he
then?
didn't write it.
He didn't write. I thought like
did
died to write or something.
didn't bring up
Maybe-
Disturbia?
Not yet.
I've never seen that. Maybe that one sounds a little too serious for me. I think
That one sounded depressing, so
Persepolis-
I never watched that one.
Was Persepolis exceedingly depressing, or is it more like
Oh, sorry, I was talking about
interesting.
Diving Bell.
culture stuff happens? I don't know.
But there was Disturbia. I did forget about that. The one with Shia LaBeouf.
Oh yeah, that was
Yes.
kind of like a Rear Window, but not as good.
Yeah.
I
But
really
I was-
enjoyed Disturbia.
That's
I was-
like 2 movies with Shia LaBeouf in one.
Yeah, two that year.
I'm curious, Simon, how Persepolis is that a really depressing movie?
It has depressing parts.
I mean, I'm sure it has depressing parts. I'm sure it
Yeah,
has.
watch it. Just watch it.
Just watch it. I might. It's animated, so at least it wouldn't be like.
I have a vague memory of that. Whoa,
Oh, Echo.
that sounded really bad.
Wow.
Was that you, Arturo?
No.
That I was hearing myself. Persepolis.
And it's like movies
I
they
think-
always are on Netflix and HBO, and I'm just like, I don't want to watch it now. And then when I do, it's not there anymore.
No, I know. Yeah, because they don't always stay there. I'm spelling it wrong.
Persepolis. I'm gonna Google that.
LYS.
Put it in the
Sorry, say that
Perse-
again. Oh, you put it in the chat?
PER.
Okay.
I was there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was definitely spelling it completely wrong.
Now I want to know how you spelled it.
I was spelling it okay. PERCEPHELUS. This is totally off. Okay, I was thinking. I don't know. I was thinking of Alexander the Great's horse Bucephalus.
Yeah, I was like, it sounds kind of like ancient
so I was
spelling.
spelling it the way I thought the horse's name was spelled. It was completely wrong.
Yeah, and that
Okay.
I mean that is like I can't remember the word. I can't remember the word they say that, but you know, like the words that sound the same but they're spelled different.
Onomatopoeia.
Yeah. Say it again.
He said something.
Onomatopoeia.
Oh, is that it?
Like words like zoom or clink. Is that what you're talking about?
No, he's talking about words that. Are you talking about words that sound the same but are spelled differently?
Oh yeah. No, yeah. So I was saying like the
I probably will, Chris.
Yeah, like the Cephalus part, or I know sometimes it's like that with names. There's just certain words that sound similar, but their spelling is different and their meaning might be different. So like when she said the Cephalus, how she would have heard that, I've seen where it would be like she said CPHALS or something like that.
PH, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think I remember imagery of this.
Didn't Mike bring this movie up before in one of our?
I think
past
I think he
podcasts?
might have. That sounds familiar.
That's when
actually.
I looked it up.
Yeah. Okay. Looks depressing.
So I just saw the time, so I will have to get out in a minute.
Oh, yes.
We're closing out anyway.
Top three.
Can't stay with us the full 4 hours like you did the last time. Oh well.
Listen, I did a good job that
you
night.
did. No, yeah, you did. That was amazing. And I was afraid to say anything because if I say how late it is, he might bow out. So
yeah, right. Like, I'm gonna
okay, give us.
You were just hoping I would just hang in there, right?
Right. Yes, I was, and you did. I was impressed.
Yes.
Okay, your top three.
My top three. Let's see. I'm going to give a number 3 to Grindhouse simply because I had the full experience, and I think and they're great. They're great films individually, but being able to have the full Grindhouse experience, it really is like something unique and something different and something interesting. And I love the vision for both of those, and just kind of replicating that part in film history, film culture, film history, the 70s and all that. So I love that.
Which one did they show first?
They showed Planet Terror first.
Yep,
They showed all the trailers, the old school trailers, and then they showed Death Proof.
That's in my top 3 as well. Yeah. The whole experience. I like Death Proof more, but I also like Planet Terror, and just getting to see them both was really fun. Yeah,
definitely. My number 2, I would go with Black Snake Moan, because like I said, that one, kind of getting beyond maybe the more extreme aspects of it. I like films that aren't afraid to, really, go for the grain and really go there as far as the subject matter. And I liked what it was really saying about, people and how we navigate life and how we carry a lot of weight and a lot of, things and a lot of, trauma, disruption, all that stuff that can kind of disrupt you. And then what happens when you meet people who are kind of determined to help you walk through that, and then just how that can impact your life. So, and it's interesting to see that happen in such a R-rated, extreme, over the top, setting.
Yes.
So, very unexpected. So that would have to be my number 2. And my number 1, I have to give it to The Orphanage. I love The Orphanage. I just think it's such a, and like I said, set your expectations, because it's always something different for everyone else. But coming off of Pan's Labyrinth, I wouldn't have expected anything to kind of supersede that experience, because I did like Pan's Labyrinth. But in many ways, I actually prefer it, because it just, like I said, it just what it does with the story, how it lays everything out, and how it's not afraid to kind of go there and get creepy in very atmospheric and unique ways. So that has to definitely be my number one.
Okay.
Cool.
Nice.
Orphanage, Grindhouse.
I definitely need to check out The Orphanage for sure. It might already be in my to watch list. But
Wait, what was the second one? I already forgot. I'm too high.
Second one was Black Snake.
Black Snake Moan. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Orphanage, Grindhouse, Black Snake Moan. Yeah. Cool.
Yes, it is in my to watch list. The Orphanage.
Cool.
Well, if we get on board with any more of these watch party things, or potentially in the future, we can knock out a couple of these.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's a good idea. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you will have already seen it. I won't have.
Which is so much fun because I get to watch.
You know what I'll be doing? I'll be like asking you all. Okay, so is this going to happen? Because I always try to figure it out. So I'll just be like thinking out loud, and then you'll be like, "Shut up, please."
No, actually, no. I'll do something even better. I will throw out little hints that will make you even more frustrated.
Okay, that's just great, D.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for the amount of time you could. You did hang in there for a good while, almost 3 hours.
Almost.
That's very good.
Yes.
So,
yeah, man.
Yep.
It's fun having you in the chat.
Yes, as always. Well, I hope you have a good one.
All right, you too. I appreciate you guys so much. Catch you next time.
Have a good
Bye.
one,
Next
D.
time.
Bye.
Okay. So, did you guys want to talk about any more? Or did you want to share your top?
I've got my top.
Well,
Okay.
there's one more important movie, I think, and that is Sidney Lumet's last movie, Before the Devil Knows You're Dead.
Oh, I forgot about that one. I don't even remember
That sounds familiar.
what that's about now.
It's called Before.
Philip Seymour Hoffman
Oh.
and Ethan Hawke, and they arrange a robbery of their parents' jewelry store.
Oh, I don't remember that
I
one.
think I've seen that playing in passing on like Pluto TV or something.
Is it really good? I like those actors.
Yeah, it's good.
I don't know why I haven't even seen that. Man, that one slipped by me.
I definitely recognize the poster. Oh, Ethan Hawke is in it. Ah. Okay, I'm checking it out on Letterboxd here.
Oh, I remember seeing that ad or that poster.
Let me see where it's available to watch. Sometimes these are available to watch on free locations.
I like Philip C. I miss.
Okay, it's on Crackle, so it might be free. It's on Plex for free. It's on Pluto TV for free. So, and it's on Freevee.
So it's free.
Yes, you can actually. There's various. I'll put it up in the private chat. But
Okay.
there are various outlets where you can watch it for free.
Cool.
That's one of the things I like. Simon, the thing that you put up about Just Watch, like Letterboxd taps into Just Watch. You went straight to the source. I usually just use Letterboxd because I have the account there, and there you go, Colin.
Oh, cool. All right, thank you.
And if you can't get it for free, it's $1.99 to rent.
I don't like that. I don't like. There's a really funny sketch thing coming out tonight. It's Gillian Keeves sketch comedy. It's like $10 for the special. I'm like, it'll be free in a few months.
Probably.
I'm really tempted to pay. They're that funny that I'm tempted to pay.
Who is it again?
It's Gillian Keeves. Shane Gillis is a stand-up comedian, and he does this sketch stuff with his friend. It's called Gillian Keeves, and they have like a handful of free sketches on YouTube that are all really, really funny. And his stand-up is one of my favorite stand-ups I've seen. It's free on YouTube.
I've never heard of him before.
I think it's just within the last year I've found out about him. He's new. He's a younger guy. But yeah, I just shout out to that. I know it's out. It just came out, and I'm tempted to spend $10. I don't know. I might have to. But $2, no. I'll find this freebie. Hang on.
They have Yeah, they have a channel. Okay. I'll sub to them, maybe check out some of their stuff.
Paying for media, you've got to be the best of the best. I have to love a few things you've done before I pay for media. That's my plan. If I want to write a book, but I feel like it's real hard to publish or sell your first book. So I'm like, I'm just going to write a book and part 1 of 2 and make it free on the internet and just try to get enough people to read it for free.
What type of book? Like a fantasy sort of?
Yeah, like a fantasy.
Okay, then go to Royal Road.
Well, I don't ever do this. So I have to write my book first. It's like it's probably be at least a year before I start.
Well, I mean, on Royal Road, a lot of times what they do is they just kind of put it up as they go along, as they work on the book. Have you ever been to that site?
Oh, Royal Road.
Royal Road, yes. Several authors that we've done work with have had their stuff posted on there, and then they end up publishing. Because like a lot of times they can gain an audience there. Okay. And it's like a lot of fantasy, lit RPG, maybe some sci-fi. I don't know.
That's cool.
That's like one of the main ones I know of that you might be worth exploring. You kind of just want to work on it. People will give you feedback too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't need that. I don't want their feedback.
Well, you kind of need feedback.
Well, there might be a way to disable it. I don't know.
I know you do
seemed like you said you wanted to post it for free, and that's where a lot of people go and post their work for free.
Yeah, I do. But I'm just gonna kind of who knows what I'll do.
Well, you could make a blog or a web page, and
I'll put it everywhere. Everywhere that allows me to put it. Just get it into their people's.
Or you could just publish it as, why can't you just maybe make it into a book on Amazon?
I don't know. I shouldn't even talk. I have to write a book first.
Yeah.
Get cracking, Colin. You've always talked about writing a book.
No,
I think I'm ahead of you.
I'm barely started. So
Trojan sex horsey.
We'll see.
Oh
hey,
my God.
Don't call him that. His name's Spike. His name's Spike, and he's
Spiky.
Oh my God.
Horny.
Okay. All right. Did anybody have their top?
I give my top. I'll do top 4.
Okay. Yeah. No rules.
Because Transformers, I feel like I want to put that up there. Just like a great summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
So, and then I want to put 310 to Yuma up there because it's we talked about. It's just kind of a great classic, well-made movie, well acted, and then got to put Walk Hard up there for the comedy. Really funny. Like, oh man, I wanted to say this one line in the opening. It's like Dewey Cox, John C. Reilly, his tragic backstory, the main character, is that when he was a kid, him and his brother were playing with swords in the barn. He accidentally cuts his brother in half. Oh. His brother's torso's on the ground. Oh. Dude, you cut me in half, something bad. And it's just like cracked me up. It's just like, kind of dumb. There's a lot of like good comedians have little cameo roles and stuff, and that Tim Meadows scene is a classic. And so good dumb comedy. And then Grindhouse. I mean, I already talked about Grindhouse. I put that up there too. So I think Grindhouse, Walk Hard, Transformers, and 310 to Yuma.
Cool. Well, I got a couple of those on my list, so
cool.
Yeah, we'll be matching up. Do you have yours ready, Simon? Or
I'll go with number 1, Mr. Bean's Holiday.
I'm
kidding.
Did we talk about that?
No.
What? I was like,
did I tell you guys they used to call me Bean in school for a while? Because one time they're like, "You look like Miss," and they just start calling me Bean. And of course, I'm a big dork, and I just like the attention. I got a shirt with Rowan Atkins.
Oh, that's funny,
Mr. Bean. Because I was like, they like me.
They really, really like me.
No, it was cool though. I wasn't actually teased or anything. I'm very lucky that I got out by the skin of my teeth there. I was just close to being the kid that would be bullied, but I think I escaped just barely.
Well, I'm glad you weren't bullied, Bean.
Yeah.
I was teased all the time. I'm always teased.
Simon, were you one of the bullies?
No,
No,
you know what I was?
I
I
wasn't.
like seeing that, you know, even across the ocean in a whole with three never even seen each other, but it's still like people know like my role. It comes across.
I guess you just give it away somehow. I don't know.
I don't
People
know
know you're a good sport and you can take it.
I
Yeah.
think that's what it
Yeah.
is. You are. You are a good sport about it, and you're funny, and so
I like
it's all
laughing.
good. All right, Simon, do you have a
So yeah,
real
number
list?
1, Stardust. Love that
Ah,
movie.
Yeah,
okay.
that one's good.
Okay, cool.
And number 2, American Gangster.
Yeah, that one was good.
All right.
And number 3, The Mist. I love the ending.
Oh yeah, the Mist.
Do you love that
The dark
terrible ending?
ominous.
Did you
I knew nothing
terrible
about it.
ending.
did you
I knew
read
nothing
the book?
about it, and I came in high.
Oh, maybe
And
that's
I
why you
just-
liked it.
Shut up. And just kind of because I knew nothing about it, I just watched and just got completely lost in it. Like, oh god,
Okay.
how are they going to get at this? And then when
Right.
the ending happened, it just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did
it
you
was
read
good.
the
I
book?
did like that a lot.
No,
Did- See, I don't know if that's how the book ends or not. And didn't they make a TV series
Yeah.
I don't know.
of The Mist?
I know they did a
Yeah.
black and white version of it
Oh, really? Okay. I
because
think
it was sort of a 50s kind of horror movie,
did it really take place in the wow, I don't even remember
a
that
50s
much.
style. horror
Oh,
movie.
okay. I think the girl who played in it is the girl who played in
The Walking Dead.
and then
Yeah, there
Thomas
was so
Jane.
many. I think it was directed by Frank Darabont. So there was it was a cast list of The Walking Dead.
The big ensemble. Oh, okay. Interesting.
I know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, directed by Frank Darabont.
When did the book come out?
Oh, I don't know because I never read it.
I thought Stephen King wrote that one.
He did. Let me see.
Okay. Because I know this has to be a reference, but I know in Silent
1980.
Hill.
Yeah, I was just looking that up. Wow, I didn't realize it was as old as that.
When did it come out?
1980.
Okay.
Interesting.
Because I don't know whether or not they got it from the book, because I know this was like way before The Mist even came out, the movie. But I know in Silent Hill there's like this creature that's kind of like a bat creature, and apparently there are bat creatures in The Mist. And I'm thinking, well, I wonder if they kind of adapted some of his like book into Silent Hill, because I know Stephen
And you
King's
wonder if it
name.
was an inspiration.
Well, yeah, I know Silent Hill was kind of, there's like all these Hollywood pop culture references in the game, and I know Stephen King, I think it's mentioned, or like maybe his name is mentioned in the game. And I was thinking, well, if the creature is from The Mist, I mean, this was before the movie ever came out. I guess they read the book and kind of adapted it into the like.
Well, I mean,
the
Misty bat creatures go all the way back to Dracula.
Yes.
Yeah, but I thought it was like this type of creature.
The creatures in The Mist, they weren't they like
They look
spiders
like
or
bats.
something?
Well, no, they were like.
No,
bat
I mean I'm
creatures,
talking
or
about
like,
the actual.
No, it was a
The
whole
Mist.
bestiary of them.
Okay, wait.
Some were huge, some were bats, some were spiders.
Okay, actually,
in
never
The
mind.
Mist. Okay, I thought they were just these.
They
Spiders.
weren't like bats. They looked almost like those type of old dinosaur. What were they called?
Pterodons?
Pterodactyls.
Like,
Pterodactyls?
yeah, sort of like that, but enough to kind of like fly around this like
Oh, you're
city.
talking about Silent Hill, aren't you?
Well, yeah, because I was saying like
Yeah.
in The Mist, Stephen King's book, or in the movie, there are those creatures, and I'm wondering if they read. Like, I'm gonna assume they read the book because the movie
Maybe.
hadn't come out yet. This was
Yeah,
like in
maybe.
'99 when the game came out, but if the book came out in 1980,
Oh no.
Could be, yeah.
I just thought that was interesting. Because, and the funny part is, in the movie The Mist, it kind of does, from what I saw from a clip, I thought it did kind of the same thing like it did in Silent Hill, just burst through a window.
Well, that's not
Yeah, but
That
it's
sort
kind
of
of a
thing happens in
coincidence, I would think. Silent Hill's a misty place, and then that thing busts through and then you have the mist, and the thing busts through the window.
things bust through windows all the time in horror films.
But
though.
it's the same creature, though.
I don't know how similar it was. I haven't seen the mist all the way through, so okay. Do you have your top 3, Arturo?
Yes, I do. Wasn't too
Or
hard. so,
top 4, whatever. It doesn't have 3.
third would be Zodiac, like that
Okay.
movie. Second would be Harry Potter, The Order of the Phoenix, and then of course Transformers is number 1.
Nice.
Yeah. So I have like mine. Okay, I have Harry Potter and
Yeah.
Order of the Phoenix, obviously. Transformers, Disturbia, and 310 to Yuma. I actually
Yeah.
really like Disturbia a lot. Yes, I was at Simon. Was it you that said it's like rear window?
was
except
David.
not as.
I think I did.
It was okay.
No,
I like them both. I just thought actually Disturbia was the very first movie that I paid attention to Viola Davis as an actor. That's when I first noticed her.
Yeah, I
The
don't
girl
mean
from,
a bad movie. I kind of thought it was better than I thought it would be. I was hooked on watching it. I watched it one time, and I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, it was better than I thought.
didn't it have like a guy that played a cop in there, and he played in something else as a cop?
Yes, he's the guy who lives in where Tim lives.
It was
And
definitely
Tim, he was the cop that the bad guy killed. He was the cop that was sitting in the car, and he took his time getting there. He says, "I'll get there when I get there," and he started eating a hamburger.
Mm.
He plays he's played a cop in
And I thought he got
Other-
killed in another movie as a
he
cop.
did. He got killed in both of those movies, and he was playing a
It's
cop.
like in every multiverse of this one guy
it's this
cannot
guy.
survive.
But yeah, Timothy has seen him around. He like took a picture of him at Target and sent it to me. It's like, oh, that's that guy from Disturbia.
cool.
So, but yeah, those are my top 3. What do you guys think about this year in general?
I thought it was pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan. Sorry.
The top movies were a bit crap, but there were a lot of little gems in the charts further on down.
How does it compare to? So I think so far,
I
if
think
remember
06 was
correctly,
probably had a
2000
lot of really good.
I
good
think
ones.
that was my favorite.
But 07's got some good, decent ones in there too.
Which one, Sam?
I felt like 2006 was probably my favorite year so far because there were so many to talk about, and I liked so many of them.
Me too, definitely. Like maybe my favorite year ever.
Oh wow, ever. Okay.
Just lots of movies I liked and lots of movies I loved. I was going to say 2007. There's a fair amount of movies I liked, but there's not many that I loved that I feel like, I can't do without this movie. That's one of the all-time great. I mean, kind of like my favorite stuff, like that I mentioned. I mean, Death Proof, Transformers, 310 to Yuma, like great movies, but I wouldn't consider them amongst my favorite movies. Just movies that are really good. So this is, to me, it's almost like I always kind of, it's like you like movies, you want to give every year a good score. But if low scores exist, this would be a year I would give a low score.
I think the one year for me that was the lowest was probably 2003.
I don't remember them enough specifically now, even though we spent.
I don't either. I know because we've been on this one for a while.
It's still kind of blurred. Now they've all blurred together.
No, like I know 01. Okay, maybe I don't know. Maybe 2000.
Artur has a memory like a steel trap.
But 03, I just remember there wasn't as much. Like there was a few, but not enough to like be a big impact. Like I think 04, 05, 06, and 07, and even 02 and 01 had like really interesting and cool movies. You know.
I keep like regretting that I didn't write a lot of these down because I'm like, man, I've gone over almost most of the movies I've ever seen in my life doing these things, these chats, and
You can always go back and rewatch all these long ass videos, Colin.
Oh my god! No, I think I'll just go with the IMDb again. But no, now I'm already forgetting. Like I'm already forgetting again, and I was like, this would be a good definitive list of all the movies I want to own or something. I feel like we have gone over most of them, you know. But as far as this year, I'm gonna say this year is a 4.
Oh, really? You would rate it that low?
It's
I
below
would
average.
that low
Okay.
because
For
it
me,
was
personally.
Okay. I'd
But-
probably give it a 6.5 to a 7. I think Simon likes it quite a bit more than we do, though.
I thought
Yeah,
it
I'll
was
give him a
decent.
7 or 8.
Oh, okay. What about you, Arturo?
I mean, maybe like a 7.5, maybe close to it. But see, this was around the time a lot of exciting things were happening.
It's like,
Yeah.
context is everything. It's almost impossible to take
You were
it.
paying more attention
Okay,
to things like
I
that.
want to be real with you guys. At that time of my age, like from 06 and 07, or even 05, but like even further, I had no idea what a year was. So,
Yeah.
so I
Your
didn't even
concept of
know
time,
it was
yeah.
07. I didn't understand months. I didn't understand.
So like a time of your life.
Yeah, it was just and I didn't find all that out until I got older. Like I think it was late 08 that I started to try to pay more attention to like the years and the dates and the months.
Oh.
It was like close to the end of the decade.
Was that when you started getting like really focused in on historical dates and timelines? And because you were like real into timelines.
Like 09, I think.
Oh, okay.
09, that's when I also were finding out like all these like releases for these entertainment medias, and I just thought that was really cool. But 07 was like when I was getting excited for different things. Like that's when I actually quote unquote technically got into like anime.
Mm-hmm.
I was into Koleoko at that point.
Oh gosh, I remember that.
It was still going on at that time. It was still going on
over and over and over and over and over again. You would replay that thing over and
Then
over and over. And
then one specific night, it was an episode of Inuyasha, and for some reason it intrigued me enough to keep thinking about it. And then I just ditched Koleoko.
Yeah, you just Code Lyoko was kind of like, I don't know. It feels like it wasn't real anime.
No, I'm not saying it was real. I'm saying I got into
it was your gateway.
No,
it was your gateway to anime, right?
No, not really. Inuyasha was.
Okay, Inuyasha was your gateway.
No, like I never thought of Koleoko as an anime. Even the shows that came on Cartoon Network that were anime, I didn't even think of them as anime at the time. I thought they were like cartoons. I mean, they are just
they are
just
a different style. Okay, did we want to try to talk anything about shows?
I was going to do a quick one. Yeah. So there was this one, the Graham Norton show started.
Oh, that's when Graham Norton started?
Yep.
He's been on that long?
Oh, he's been on way longer than that. It was
really?
That's when he went to the BBC.
Oh.
But I remember watching him in the 90s.
Oh, dang. He has been on a long time. He's
when he was on Channel 4.
So funny. Yeah. He's really funny. It's always fun to watch.
I do want to watch some of this stuff. So, the Mad Men.
Oh, that's the movie. That's I think when John Hamm started getting sort of noticed.
I was a little too serious.
The guy from Top Gun, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I never watched it though. Isn't that the one with
It's got the guy from Christina.
Is Christina Hendricks in that?
I don't know. I think Kate Moss.
Mad Men?
Not Kate Moss. What's her name?
Yeah, Mad
No,
Men. Yeah.
she's not in Mad Men.
Yeah, she was in that.
Okay, because I've been watching her in this. There's a show that I've been watching on Netflix that had originally come on Sundance called Hap and Leonard. And it's based on a series of books by, Joe Lansdale or something. And she plays in there. And I just remember noticing she had been on Mad Men, but I never watched Mad Men. Didn't she play in an episode of, maybe I'm wrong. Did she play in an episode of Firefly?
2 episodes.
Ah, okay. All right.
Naruto Shippuden started this year.
Oh,
and
Naruto.
Yeah.
Chuck started this year. Have you guys seen that show?
I never watched it.
Phineas and
It looks really good. I would like to check it out. I just have never taken the time.
Total drama.
Did you guys ever watch Flight of the Conchords?
No,
Yeah,
but I
it was good.
heard about them. That was wasn't that on SNL first?
No.
Flight of the Conchords?
No,
It was a New Zealand thing.
It's a New Zealand
Oh,
thing.
okay. There's
The
something.
HBO show.
Okay, wait. What? Okay, what's it about?
It's these two guys that are just kind of dorky, I don't know, slackers that sing in a band, like a folk rock kind of comedy band. I don't know if it's a comedy band or just the show is really comedic, and they have like comedic songs during the show. Jermaine Clement's in it, who's semi-famous. And I was gonna say, Simon, if you know the show, the manager is really like the scene stealer for me.
Mm-hmm.
God, Marty, is it Marty? I can't remember.
Can't remember either.
But oh man, and he's been in stuff more too now. That actor has been in a lot of other stuff. But yeah, oh man, he makes me laugh so much. All his scenes where they're doing the meetings, and he's doing the minutes.
It was only like 2 seasons.
It had only 2 seasons. So it's on HBO. It's pretty short, and it's like seasons are pretty short too. Maybe 8 or 10 episodes, like 30-minute. But it's funny. It's got funny songs. It's different, and it's like really low key. It's got a few good special guests too. But yeah, that's a give a shout out to that one. I like that one. I watched it a few times. Rise Darby, that's the guy. He's the one that's their manager. That's really funny. Oh, that's okay. Our Flag is Death. That's the new comedy on HBO. Taika Waititi's involved in.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Rise Darby's the main character, the guy who does the manager, and he's pretty good in that new show too. That's really the only show. Okay, no, there was one. I'm glad I made it to the end. The IMDb is like lists all the shows and movies.
Yeah, you've gone all the way through the end.
I went down to 100.
Oh, okay.
So I was just kind of scrolling, like just about to give up, and then number 99 is actually like my favorite show of the year, one of my all-time favorite shows, and I doubt anyone's seen it. The Sarah Silverman Program.
Oh, I've heard of that. I just haven't watched it.
You guys probably have heard of Sarah Silverman. She's kind of like love or hate type.
Yes.
And I love her. And a lot of it's from this show where she kind of plays a version of herself that's really childish and selfish and goofy. And it was just really fun and funny and different. And it was also like just a part of my life where I was just really depressed and alone and stuff. And it was like this beacon of happiness that I was drawn to, that would like get me through those times of like, because she just plays this kind of, I think she's like attractive and stuff, but like just also her personality is like goofy kid, kind of like, it sounds bad, but I'm attracted to the kid type. I'm attracted.
Oh, he's right. That does sound bad, Colin.
I'm attracted to people.
You might like anime.
Who are still like,
not all animes like that, Simon.
Around.
Just,
it's like people who act kind of silly
immature.
and childish and
immature.
Okay.
The way that I am, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Immature. I'm drawn to immaturity because I'm immature.
Okay.
So a lot of people are going to ask questions now.
It's a really immature show because she's older than me, but she plays, like this immature slacker. And it's just like I own all the DVDs and I watched it a bunch of times.
Oh, wow. How long was it on? Like
3 seasons, maybe 4.
Oh, okay.
I think it's 3 seasons. But yeah, it's pretty. I actually haven't watched it for a while because I watched it so much. Just because it was like I said, when I was depressed or lonely, I would just put that on, and like that's my dream girl right there. And actually, my background.
Not Mila.
Mila was for a while actually before I found the Sarah Silverman show.
Oh, okay. She's been replaced.
Oh.
It used to be
Mila.
But my background on my TV is all like. It's Sarah Silverman's. It's from that show. It's from the Sarah Silverman Program where she's like, whoa. That's been my computer background desktop for like a decade.
Oh my gosh.
It just makes me happy. Yeah.
Oh, that's.
Have you seen The Aristocrats?
Yeah, she's in that. Yeah.
That was the first time I noticed her.
Mm-hmm. I think the first time I noticed her was we talked about this movie, Way of the Gun, with Ryan Phillippe and Benicio del Toro.
She got punched.
Yeah, she plays like a
No, yeah,
bitch,
that's
loud,
we need to
bitchy
talk about that.
character, and I associated her as that character for a long time, and I didn't like her. And then when I found the show where she plays like a goofy kid, immature person, I was like, oh, okay, that's this other side to her that I really do like, which is like the opposite of a kind of bitch.
That's mostly how I've known her, is like as a sort of on the comedy side of things.
Mm-hmm. And then that's her whole the show is all funny, but yeah, it's that type of like immature, almost adorable immature funny that's really her niche, I think.
So Arturo, you'll be curious to know, or you'll not curious to know, but you will find this interesting that El Internado started in 2007.
Oh,
the
yeah,
boarding
yeah.
school.
That was, we still haven't finished
Yep.
that. I really want to
No,
get back
I know.
into
One day.
it.
But
Yeah, that's a really good show.
I really like that show.
Except for all the crazy romantic this is like okay.
So
But then there's the mystery.
El Internado was a Spanish language show that came on from 2007 to 2010, and I don't even remember how I started noticing it.
Mm-hmm.
But for whatever reason, I started watching it, and I found I could understand quite a bit of the Spanish, and the storyline was interesting because there's like some mystery and secrets and things like that. And the filming is kind of like it's almost like a soap opera type feel. You know how soap operas look?
Yeah.
The lighting and stuff. It kind of looks like that, but almost like a notch better.
Mm-hmm.
And the storyline was very interesting, and that was where we first noticed Ana de Armas. Was when because she was a teenager during it.
Now she's all really big.
Now she's like all she jumped the pond and she's everywhere, and now I'm getting a little bit oversaturated with Ana de Armas stuff. It's like, okay, you need to back down. I'm seeing you too much. But I noticed her in that show, and there was this scene that happened, and she's talking, and I was confused because it takes place in Spain, and they have a specific dialect and way that they talk, and I thought she was a Spaniard. And then she starts using words that she starts speaking in a grammatical way that Spaniards don't speak. And I was like, this is confusing. Why is she talking this way? Spaniards don't talk that way. And I looked it up and found out she's Cuban. So I was like, oh, okay, that's why. She's not a Spaniard. But yeah, I always noticed her from that show. And
different actors.
Long time ago.
There
Jan
was
Gonzalez, but he hasn't hopped the pond yet. So I don't know.
Yet. And then you have his stepdad. He actually was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes, that's right. Because he is actually, I think he's like Swedish.
He speaks
I think it's like Swedish
5
or
or
something.
so languages.
Yeah.
Who's this? What? Sorry.
It's a show called The Boarding School. It's a
right.
Spanish
El
language.
Internado.
I don't remember the name of that
looking at it.
actor, but I thought he was Swedish or Swiss, and he knows multiple languages. So he's like, he can play in English language stuff. He can play in Spanish stuff. He can play in stuff that's where they speak his native language. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he might have grown up bilingual, speaking Spanish and his native tongue. Maybe English too. But anyway,
Boarding Schools, The Secret Shame Exposure.
No.
Is that it? That's what's listed as IMDb.
What?
Oh,
What?
Is that the other one?
No, it's
there was
this
another
one. It's this one. I'll put it in the private chat.
But wasn't there another actor in there? Well, wasn't there another actor that also?
Gosh, what was the name of
that's
the father? Crap.
I know the girl. Then there was the other girl in there that has the ability to see things.
Blanca Suarez. She plays in a lot of
other shows,
Spanish language.
Yeah.
Gosh, what the heck is that guy's name? That's gonna bug me now. Do you remember his father's name, Arturo?
No, not really.
Anyway, so
was it Good Mysteries?
Well, there was like this stuff that was happening at this boarding school, and some questions were never answered, but I was mainly drawn to it because of the fact that I could understand so much of the Spanish. And then, of course, the story itself just really pulled me in. Probably, maybe, I don't know. You might not would like it at all because some of the stuff might be pretty silly, but
well, more of the romance and stuff like
some of that stuff was silly. It wasn't completely.
But then again, I have not finished it. I have
I
not
know,
finished
and I'm not
it.
going to tell you how it ends. But I can't find that guy's name because it's
I
not
know
showing a
some of
full
these
cast
actors
list.
were in a Grand Hotel, but
Yes, some of them were. Well, I can't find his name, but
Oh, I saw in the chat, Children's Hospital. I saw a few of those, and it was funny. I didn't see all of it, but I overlooked that was this year. That was a pretty funny show. Like Adult Swim. Yeah, humor.
they filmed it in the
Parody
same
of
location as Scrubs. Oh,
Yeah, it was like a pair. Because, man, what's his name? Like that funny bald comedian, Rob Corduroy, I think. Rob Corddry. I think he's in it. It's pretty funny.
one of the girls that was in there, the little girl.
Paula. Sorry, we're still stuck on El Internado. I'm still trying to
Everly,
figure out who the heck that guy was.
not Everline.
Yeah, what about her?
Yeah, like she's Amelia's age.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a good show if I could just finish it.
Yeah, well, Netflix removed it, so.
There was the cartoon Chowder. Anybody watch that?
Mm-mm.
I remember watching that. Just looking through.
Yeah, some of these I
Mobile Suit Gundam 00
never heard of.
and Gurren Lagann.
Oh, the Dresden Files. I don't. There's not like a lot of shows for this year that stand out.
Well, some of the anime do.
Yeah, really. I mean, the Sarah Silverman's special for me, but other than that,
Sin, the anime version of Romeo and Juliet that came out this year.
Okay.
Moonlight.
I recognize Moonlight.
Oh,
there's a whole bunch of them I don't.
Devil May Cry anime came out.
Oh, okay.
There's a few other
Kardashians started.
Oh, really?
And that's when the world went downhill.
I know. The world went downhill when Kim Kardashian got famous because of her porn tape. And then the Kardashian show started because of that.
This very crazy show, Yo Gabba Gabba. Do you remember that?
Oh, I remember.
Like Aurelia would watch that channel. And it would have Backyardigans upside down, but then of course it was the Yo Gabba Gabba.
I
Ice Road
recognize.
Truckers.
Oh yeah, my mom and dad watched that on like Netflix or something. I was never interested in that.
Never seen it either, but it lasted quite a bit.
Is it still on?
I think it ended 2017.
Oh.
Sin, have you
Lasted a while.
Have you ever heard of the anime Claymore?
No.
I would think you would like that one. That's kind of one that's floated around for a while now. I've heard about it, heard it's really good, just never watched it.
Are you smarter than the fifth grader? Lasted 12 years.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember that one. Sorry, this is bugging me about that actor now. I'm trying to find who the heck that actor is. And I won't be able to find him.
I always forget till the last minute, so I was looking ahead at like 2008 movies.
Yeah.
There's something I want to recommend.
Okay, hold on. Let me pull up my list. Because
has anybody heard of Mobsters? That's a show that came out.
No.
Okay, hold on. Let me create my list. Keep track of ones that you guys recommend. Okay, what do you have for us, Colin?
Well, I'm just glancing through here. I haven't done the whole. Have you seen In Bruges?
No, but I think I have that digitally.
It's Colin Farrell and
yes, and I've heard it's good.
And it's actually a good time to watch it because I just saw that the guy, the director, has a new movie coming out that also stars Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson. That's
cool.
It's not like a sequel, but it's just the same. Like
yeah.
And
okay.
In Bruges was one of those movies that I just like watched with my mom, not really expecting anything, and I was like really surprised by how good it was, and just like funny and original, and I really like the acting. It's probably one of my favorite Colin Farrell roles, and I really like that actor Brendan Gleeson.
Yeah,
Good role.
Mad Eye Moody. I think he
Moody.
played in Harry Potter.
Yeah, which you saw Gangs of New York. He's like one of the scene stealers of Gangs of New York too.
Oh, he also played in 28 Days Later. I think that was, yeah, I remember him from that.
The Irish are just the best.
I know.
Well, he is pretty awesome. He's a lot cooler than his son, though. His son's kind of like,
who's his son?
Saw the son.
Who's his son?
The dude from Star Wars and Ex Machina and a bunch of stuff. In Star Wars, he's like the Nazi Empire guy. In the new Star Wars, where he's like,
there was a new Star Wars?
The short, to me, it's all new. To me, 10 years ago, it's still new. Force
Awakens. They never made a sequel trilogy. What are you talking about?
Oh, I got you. He's like the Nazi dude.
He's like kind of like reddish hair.
Reddish hair. He was
like
Machina. He was the good guy.
That was him. Okay.
Yeah, that's Brendan Gleeson's son, Domhnall Gleeson.
Okay.
And he's cool, but he's not as cool
that.
as Brendan Gleeson. Yeah, it's cool. He's a cool Irish dude there. So in Bruges, I don't know. Simon, I'm guessing you've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't.
Is it as good as I've been led to believe it is?
Yeah, what do you think, Simon? Do you think it's pretty good?
I think it's pretty good. I'm not going to say it's great because I don't like overhyping things, but it's good.
Okay.
Worth recommending to send though.
Yeah.
I've been interested in it for a while.
You could always just skip to the end anyway.
I don't want to overhype it either.
I actually am interested in this one, so I do want to take the time.
Yeah, I think it's good. I don't want to overhype. It's not great, but I liked it. It was worth watching, and I'm probably going to watch that new one they're in just based on how.
Just because of that, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that show either, Dulcimerist.
Okay, that
Tim
one.
And Eric, awesome show.
Tim and yeah, that one actually is like. Sometimes it's really funny to me. I forgot that was this year too. Sometimes that show's really funny to me, but sometimes it goes too far to just being like weird. Where it's almost like they're being really weird to make a joke, and sometimes it's funny, but sometimes it's not. To me, it is just really weird. If that makes sense. Like sometimes it's good satire, and sometimes it is like one of those things. Like now you are what you're parodying. And it's just weird and uncomfortable. That's how I feel about it, though.
Before I forget, a couple of notable 2007 deaths. Marcel Marceau, the mime.
Oh, okay.
Famous mime.
All
Ingmar
right.
Bergman.
Okay.
Famous Swedish director. Mm-hmm. And Anna Nicole Smith.
Oh, was that when she died? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
And film debuts, Jenna Arterton, in Centurions.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Fassbender in 300.
Cool.
Was that when he debuted? No.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yep.
His debut for me was
what?
Inglourious Bastards. But I think that was one of his first bigger roles was Bastards, but he probably didn't have a huge role in 300.
Wait. 300 was when Michael Fassbender debuted.
According to Wikipedia.
Well, that's only a couple years before Inglourious Bastards, though. Right?
Oh, okay. Okay, so I've seen him in this movie called Eden Lake. And I thought that was from before 2007. But it's not. It's 2008. I thought he'd been around for longer than that. Wow. Okay.
Well, IMDb says he's been in TV shows.
Okay. Was he ever in Arturo? Was he ever in Band of Brothers?
Who?
Michael Fassbender. Magneto. Was he ever in Band of Brothers?
Oh, the young Magneto?
Yes.
Yes, he was.
Okay, so it must have been that was his film debut.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Andrew Garfield in Land for Lambs.
Really?
Tom Hiddleston in something called Unrelated.
Oh, okay.
Zoe Kravitz, Rigo Rodriguez, Saoirse Ronan, Andy Samberg.
Okay, say her name again.
Saoirse.
That's how you say her name, Saoirse.
Saoirse like inertia.
Saoirse.
Oh, that's right. You said
Saoirse
inertia. You
Inertia.
said that, and I couldn't get it phonetically. I was like, how do you
Yeah.
make inertia out of the S? Saoirse.
Saoirse, like
Because
inertia.
I was trying to put an N in there, and I'm like, there's no N in there, but I know Irish names are odd, and they sound sometimes exactly the opposite of the way they look.
I can never get it because it's like SAO, but it makes like an
Saoirse.
SE.
Yeah, I always want to call her Saoirse or
Yeah, I want to do a Sa or
Saoirse. I want to pronounce
Yeah.
it phonetically.
So.
Turo, we're talking about the girl who played in that detective movie that we watched, the Agatha Christie.
Oh yeah.
The main actor. Okay, so she made her debut in 2007. Okay.
Oh well.
In a Amy Heckerling romantic comedy with Paul Rudd and Michelle Pfeiffer called I Could Never Be Your Woman, which I'd never heard of before.
Mm-mm.
Neither
either.
have I.
Who were Andy Samberg and Hot Rod, Emma Stone, and Emma Stone is super bad. I think that's it.
Nice.
Okay. Emma
Wait a
Stone.
minute.
I thought she'd been around
There
longer.
was. Wait. Oh, wait. Was she was in that movie with Isn't it that one romance movie? It's got the girl that played Elizabeth Swann and the guy that played the young Professor X.
Wait,
That
who are
came
you?
out- That
who
came
are
out
you?
this year.
Who are you talking about though?
The I thought it was the girl that played the cop.
Okay.
Or
hold
maybe
on.
it was another actress. Maybe I'm getting it mixed up with another
No,
actress.
she wasn't. Okay, so Simon, she was also in Atonement.
Who?
Saoirse. What's her name?
Saoirse.
Saoirse. Saoirse. She was also in Atonement. You're right, Arturo.
Dr. Steve.
So I wonder which one was her first one. The one you never heard of, or the
Yeah, I Could Never Be Your Woman.
Okay.
But I thought she was also in that.
She was.
Honestly, I don't know what else to recommend. I'm seeing a lot of comedies that I like.
Yeah, I only have one written down so far.
I don't think you or Arturo would like the comedies. And obviously.
Oh wait, Thunder or something or other. It's got Robert Downey Jr., Jack Black.
Oh, Tropic Thunder.
Tropic
Thunder. I do want to watch that one.
Yeah, that's a class. I mean, I don't know if it's not a classic, but it's a pretty big hit.
It will be.
It's pretty funny.
Well, you were getting ready to say something, Colin.
I guess one other thing. I don't think you would like it, Sen, because you don't like the found footage genre. Maybe Arturo would like Cloverfield.
Oh yeah, Cloverfield.
I don't know if that's Arturo's thing. I really liked Cloverfield. So
I've been wanting to watch the sequel.
Oh, I thought
that's really good.
10 Cloverfield Lane. That's good.
Yeah, I've heard it's good.
The one with John Goodman.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
didn't think it was that. I thought the original was so much better.
I haven't watched the original all the way through just because it's specifically the type of film I'm not crazy about.
Yeah,
but I know all about it. I saw the ending.
Well, that's just I don't know. That's one of my.
I liked how Colin was like, "Oh, you're disappointing everybody, Sin."
You should watch Marley and Me and just skip right to the end.
No, I don't want to see that because I know.
Yeah,
exactly. I know how that ends already. No.
But you know what pisses me off? I'm going to go off topic, which is how Tropic Thunder. It doesn't piss me off. It's hypocrisy pisses me off, and I see it with Tropic Thunder, where like Robert Downey Jr. is in blackface the whole movie on the cover, right? And now, meanwhile, like Always Sunny in Philadelphia. My favorite shows ever that I rewatch all the time when I don't know what to watch. They've taken down like 4 or 5, 6 episodes from the show. You can't watch it now unless I guess if you go buy the DVD, but because they have blackface on the episode, sometimes even briefly, which to me it's kind of like, I'm all right with getting rid of blackface. It's offensive. I get it, but it's one of those things where it's like, don't be hypocritical. Don't be like, well, you can't show it on this show but we can still kind of promote this movie because I mean it's Ben Stiller and Jack Black and Robert Downey. It's Robert Downey Jr. He's too big to get upset about this, so we're just gonna still like this movie's cool. You know, like they'll promote it. It's still out there to be watched and stuff, as far as I know. But then other stuff for the same reason is like you can't. This is not appropriate.
I don't think they should.
Technically, it's not Robert Downey Jr. in blackface because he's playing an Australian actor.
Sure.
Who's in blackface.
Well,
Right.
he like has this thing done to his skin to make him. I'm a dude playing a
something.
dude
Dude
disguised
disguised as another dude.
Dude, yeah. It's really funny. I like it, and I think it is. You know, I feel like if you're an adult and you're going to see art, and it's the fun, have a sense of humor. If it offends you, don't have to check it out.
Yeah.
I feel like we've always had the option to purchase art and not,
See, like that's what I don't
They're not
like.
on our own.
If you don't like, if you think it's gonna bother you, then just skip it.
So tonight we've learned that Colin enjoys blackface and is attracted to young girls.
out of context, completely taken out of context, and I do not sign off on any further reproduction of my.
You guys get along so good.
It's completely taken out of context. Sure, Colin.
Hmm.
Teasing. Were there any that you had, Simon, to throw out
I'm just
there?
To be
looking for
honest-
Arturo. Have you seen Valkyrie?
Yes,
Oh,
I have.
yes.
Yeah.
That's
I
such
almost,
a good movie.
you know what? I was gonna mention that because I think Arturo would like it, and I saw Bryan Singer directed it, and I'm like, fuck that dude.
Oh, I forgot he
The guy that made
directed
X-Men.
Yeah,
or the guy that
made
directed.
X-Men.
Oh no, it
yeah,
was
I mean, he did make
good.
it. He did make the X-Men.
It was a really good movie, and I'm not typically someone who likes because I obviously I knew how it ended before I saw it because I knew the story behind it. But it's so frustrating to watch that movie because they came so close.
Yeah.
And it was a stupid table leg.
Yes.
Saved Hitler.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they tried to kill him multiple times.
I
and
know,
yet-
but they came like that's probably one of the closest.
It's probably
times
the
they ever
closest
came.
time, and it's a true story where like they put a bomb under the table, and
Yep.
the way that it
Because
like,
he
the
moved it
table
to the other
leg,
side. Yep.
he was on the others. He moved.
Yeah,
and
well,
it
he
like,
like well,
just barely saved him.
how the
And it
movie
was a
portrayed
big,
it.
heavy table. Like
A
my
big
husband
old
has
wooden-
a big,
yeah.
huge, heavy.
Big heavy. It
Yeah.
absorbed a lot of the blow, so
Exactly.
it didn't kill him. But yeah, it's great. It's a real. I read that book I told about the history of the Third Reich or something. I remember reading that before I saw the movie. Like this, they got to make a movie about this. Like, 'cause, yeah, it's. So you probably would like Valkyrie. I think it was decent.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What? Yeah, we've seen it.
We saw it.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
saw it in the movie theaters, and then I even bought the DVD.
Mhm.
We
I
might
think
rewatch
I
it
think we
again.
could rewatch it again with your mom.
Yeah, she would
I think
probably
she
like
would
it.
like that.
Yeah.
I thought the guy
Maybe-
that played Hitler looked like Hitler, unless they did a lot of makeup on him, make him look like it.
I don't even remember.
And then
who it was.
sadly, Tom Cruise doesn't run much in this one.
No, he doesn't.
You think the only time he runs is when he's getting shot at by a allied plane? I think that's the only time you see him run.
Oh yeah, I've heard of Ponyo. Were you going to
yeah,
say something, Simon?
Yeah, that's a good one.
The boy in the striped pajamas.
Or no, I've heard.
Oh gosh, I am not watching that one.
Has Arturo seen it?
No.
Is that a sad movie?
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Was that a Holocaust?
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh boy.
See,
No, I can't.
I can never really get into Holocaust movies. I think the only one I'm going to try is Schindler's
Schindler's
List.
List.
And then,
Yeah.
I don't know, would Come and See be considered a Holocaust?
Life is
'cause-
Beautiful was enough for me, I think.
Yeah. No, I can't. Yeah.
More than enough. Yeah.
I mean, would you say Come and See is part of it? Holocaust?
Not
Dish.
really.
Because I thought the Holocaust also had to do with the massacres too. Not just camp.
Bronson's an interesting movie. It's kind of dark and sad.
I wouldn't. I've heard of Bronson, and I've
but
never
it's
seen
Tom
it.
Hardy, and it's that
Yes.
director I told you about, Nicholas Winding Refn, who I think is really a good director.
Oh, Jumper.
So, Bronson, I saw it. It's prison. I don't really like prison movies, but it's probably
Me
one of
either.
the better prison movies I've seen, just because Tom Hardy and the role, the character is so interesting and different.
Now, to be fair, we
Yeah, I
have
like
seen a lot
Tom
of good
Hardy's.
movies.
I like Tom Hardy.
We
He's
He's
have
very
seen
talented.
Me
we
too.
have it, but we've had seen a lot of good movies of 08.
Good. Yeah. Now
Like,
that you're like getting older now, I feel like you'll have naturally seen a lot more movies.
Even more. Yeah.
Well, like we saw some of them in movie theaters that year.
Right.
So
yeah.
most of the good ones we've already seen. It's
well,
the
The Dark
ones that
Knight,
yeah,
obviously.
Iron Man, Hulk.
Have you seen Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
No, but I've heard about it. It didn't seem like something that would interest me, but I don't remember the premise.
It's a fun
2000.
comedy.
Mhm.
I recommend it. Frost Nixon.
Frost Nixon with that's I want to say I saw that or I think I saw that,
It was a
but I don't
Max
remember a
Payne
lot
movie?
about it. That had
It's good.
Michael Sheen,
Oh.
right?
Yeah, Michael Sheen and Frank Langella.
Oh, Hellboy
okay.
2, and there was also Taken.
Oh gosh.
Taken's
Zombie
like a classic.
strippers. Okay. Taken was good. Wait, someone mentioned.
Oh, Kung Fu Panda. Saw that one.
Yeah.
Let the Right One In.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Son. I
Okay.
just scrolled across that.
That's the original, right?
The original.
Yeah,
liked
the
it
remake was
better
called Let
than-
Me In.
I saw them both, I think, and I felt like the remake was pointless. Like the original was a lot better, and it was just very like I don't know, moody, well shot. Like felt a little different than just the average horror movie to me because of how it was.
Yeah,
Just how it was
I liked it. Was good.
Yeah, some of these movies I don't really recognize. Like there's thriller movies here.
Well, Mamma Mia is a stone cold classic.
Oh yeah, that's a.
The Hurt Locker is actually an interesting movie. One
The Hurt Locker. That has Jeremy Renner, right?
Yeah, I'm not like a big fan of that movie, but it is. I can see why it's popular. It's pretty good.
Religulous.
Religulous, yeah. I like.
Australia with Hugh Jackman.
It's a little.
Oh, The Good, the Bad, the Weird was a 2008 movie.
Yeah,
I love that
one.
movie so much.
That one.
Yeah, I need to watch that one.
That movie was a lot
So
of fun.
The music's really good.
Yeah. The Good, the Bad, the Weird. Absolutely. We like that so much we bought it.
Nice.
On Blu-ray.
Still have it.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen it, so I wouldn't mind watching it again.
Oh, Twilight.
No.
Your favorite movie?
Twilight. That doesn't exist.
It's weird where it's like my time's all screwed up where it's like WALL-E seems way older than Twilight. Maybe it's because Twilight had a bunch of sequels.
Balto came out, so that's cool.
Oh.
08 was the year.
Oh, not Balto, Bolt. Sorry, Bolt.
Yeah.
Bolt.
08 was the year where I first thought to myself, like, man, superheroes are popular now. Like,
yeah,
in the mainstream. Because it was like Dark Knight, Iron Man, Hulk. It was like multiple big movies that year. I felt like Spider-Man, there was big superhero hits, but it was maybe one or two. They were still kind of new. And then 2008 was the year where I'm like, man,
that's what really started. Mainstream. Yeah.
Now. Yeah. Yeah, I guess In Bruges, I think, is my highest.
I'm definitely watching that one.
That'll be my top pick as well.
Cool.
Because I've had that sort of in the back of my brain for a long time because I've heard it's good, and I like Gleason and I like Farrell.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe I'll like it. Oh, the Spiderwick Chronicles. I was underimpressed with the Spiderwick Chronicles.
Most of the movies I'm going to be talking about are comedies, I think, though. So I won't even recommend. Yeah. And stuff that's obvious, like Dark Knight and Iron Man. So
yeah,
I don't have a lot of good recommendations.
Yeah, not a lot. There's maybe like only 2 or 3 movies. Best.
Funny Games, which was a remake of another movie. Oh, the director. What? Okay, I want to see Funny Games, but it's a remake of a foreign language movie done by the same director. So he just redid it in English. 2 years, no, 10 years after he did the first one. Okay. I'm gonna have to.
Man on Wire.
Is that the one about the tightrope walker?
It is, yeah.
That's the documentary.
The older guy?
Yeah, going
the
between
guy
two towers.
The guy who, yeah, that guy. Yeah. I never watched that one because it just looked too, I mean, I knew what happened to him. Was it about that event or just a biography about him in general?
It was about that event, from what I remember. There was two of them. I'm still not sure which one. I kind of have them mixed up in my head because there was a movie about it and then there's a documentary.
I believe the movie came out later because I think
Yeah.
the documentary made it popular.
Oh my gosh, the premise of this.
I know it.
The premise of this movie, Thanks Killing. A homicidal turkey murders college kids during Thanksgiving break. Oh, Lord.
Actually, I shouldn't say I know it did, but I'm pretty sure the Tightrope movie was a 3D movie that came out after Avatar, because that was like, I almost went and saw it because of that, but I might be wrong. It might have actually been a year before. I feel like Avatar is when I started paying attention to 3D again, though. When I'm like, I didn't care, and then I saw Avatar, and I'm like, okay, now I want to see movies that are in 3D.
Well, I think for 2008, we should probably will be able to
Street
do
Kings.
that one. Huh?
Street Kings. Your Uncle Tim liked Street Kings.
So how much does that make to watch?
I'm just writing down anything that interests me plus things that they have brought up. I mean, I don't think we'll watch all of them, but you know, maybe
we're close to the end of this decade almost. We just got 08 and 09.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I guess after we do that, are we gonna just maybe talk about different topics, or are we gonna keep going?
I'm happy. Whatever.
If we get into the 20 teens, we're creeping on almost up to where we are now.
And then wait another decade to talk about
it. If we're all around in another decade.
It's
fine if you want to head into the 20 teens or if you want to explore just different sorts of topics.
Different sort of topics. It doesn't matter.
I'm down for anything. I like having just movie talk time.
It makes me appreciate the 2000s, though.
We should
talk about all.
Go up to present day and then do like a end of year roundup over the holidays.
And then we can we'll officially be good enough to be critics. Start having a channel that reviews stuff.
I feel like a lot of us already are. I mean, because the way you analyze film is very similar to how like a movie critic does, Colin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
And Simon too, and then D, of course, he already, you know,
you're
he
just
is
being
too.
You're being
No, I'm not.
I do feel like, Colin, you do go into a lot of depth about
well, I think a lot.
Movie.
I think a lot. Yeah, but also I think I think it's different. Like I think about this too, though. Like when I'm watching a movie, I'm pretty much like I think that I'm in the movie. Like I never do stuff like, or I rarely will like be judging acting or like. I don't try to look at it like this is the set and this is how they're doing the set. They could have done this or they could. I'm all just kind of like, I like the story. Is it cool? You know, like. I guess I don't look at it like a filmmaker objectively with who understands like all the things. In my mind, I just know if I think it looks good or not, if the story moves me, that kind of. So that's why I mean, like, I don't even know how to think like some of those critics think. Especially with acting, when they talk about good or bad acting, I really only know if acting's terrible. You know, otherwise I believe it. Okay, I found something. I scrolled far down enough that I found a movie. This will be my last recommendation. And actually my highest recommendation.
I wanted to address something. Don't forget what you were going to say. I just wanted to address something Dulcimeris was saying. He brought up a movie called The Ramen Girl with Brittany Murphy in it. He thought that was her last film. That wasn't her last. Well, so she was in a movie called Abandoned.
Mhm.
That was one of her very last films. But then there's also something else she's credited with from 2014 called Something Wicked. That's the very last thing she's credited with. But I don't know if that was filmed, when that was filmed. But anyway, okay. Sorry, go ahead, Colin.
Something I would recommend. I don't know if you actually have a chance to watch it. It's maybe not easy to find. I mean, it grossed about 600K, so it's a huge hit. It was, I think, at the time, the biggest production ever in China. And it is called Red Cliff. And I actually have, there's a foreign version that's like chopped in half. It's a lot shorter. It kind of sucks if you can only see that version, but it's okay. We've got the director's cut. We borrowed it from my dad. It's out there. We've been meaning to watch it this week, but it's like a 5-hour epic. And,
oh, dang.
Directed by John Woo, famous director, a huge budget in China. And it's based on, I think I talked about Dynasty Warriors before, or I really like Dynasty Warriors, this video game. And I found out that it's based on a book, Romance of the Three Kingdoms, which I then read, which is like historical fiction, which I found out then was like maybe the most famous book ever in China. It's amongst the most top, it's like one of their Shakespeare, or it's like a hugely popular historical piece of literature in China. And
the Monkey King?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think that's not. It's a historical fiction that recounts the events at the fall of the Han Dynasty in around 200 AD, and all these 3 separate kingdoms fighting for China, and all these warriors and all these little stories. And so it's like the books cover a period of almost 100 years, and there's tons of names and stuff happens. But it's a lot of it's kind of there's some magical stuff they throw in for fun, but it's a lot more like soldiers marching around and taking stuff over. And but anyways, so it's a really big deal in China is the point I'm trying to make. And then they made this movie that had a huge production, and it's really good, I think. And it's focused on the biggest battle of the era, which was 208 AD. And it's a real battle, and it's just all 3 sides were involved, and it's a huge battle. And so that's portrayed, but it's also portrayed just some of the important characters. And it's really cool. It's shot really well, and there's a lot of cool stuff in it. And it, kind of appreciates getting to appreciate that kind of, Chinese historic warfare, which I feel like if you can't find, it's hard to find good. I love historical fiction and historical stuff, and it's just usually you only get to see you don't get to see other cultures done as well as often as you do. Maybe, Egypt or Greece or whatever, but like I appreciate getting to see different stuff. And I think the movie's really well made. And if you get a chance, I highly recommend Red Cliff.
All right, I wrote it down.
Awesome.
I'm not sure if I can find it, but I wrote it down.
Yeah, I probably talked a lot for a movie no one will get to see. But it's just one of those, I'm really glad I found it. It's not like it made 600K here. It's not like I feel like no one knows it, but I think it's awesome. Like I would say now that I see it, it's like to me it's up there with Dark Knight for probably
wow
favorites of the year.
Okay.
Like I think it's awesome.
I will say when we do go into
is almost up.
Yeah, I was gonna say when we do go into the 2010s, I have a lot to talk about that decade.
Okay.
It's just a lot of
less. So I feel
well,
like
it's both.
Sorry, I can be quiet. I'll be quiet, and you guys will have more to say because I had a lot more to say. I want to get all my words out about all my special movies.
It's like an up and down sort of deal with that. With the last decade, there was a lot of classics that came back, but some of those classics was like a yay or a nay.
Sometimes good, sometimes bad.
Yeah, and it's just a sad thing to see.
Oh yeah, I know. It does feel like there's been a decline in the decade of the teens, but every once in a while there's some good stuff that comes out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and end broadcast before StreamYard does it for us.
Yeah.
So
StreamYard,
thank you to everybody who joined us. And we look forward to the next time.
4-hour one.
Hopefully it won't take another 2 months, but there was just so much going on and just didn't work out until now. So we'll see you later. Thank you very much.
It's been fun.
Adios.
We'll come back now. You hear?
Yeah. Go away now.
Oh.